Chapter 118. We didn't do anything. 5. I don't need you to go easy on me. Let's begin then. Yi Xiao attacked directly, slashing the sword in his hand straight at Yi Chen. He poured water attribute spiritual power into the sword, and sword energy effused out in all directions as he attacked Yi Chen. Yi Chen calmly looked at the spiritual power rushing at him. He gently raised his hand and released dark attribute spiritual power to entangle the water attribute spiritual power flying at him. In mere moments, dark attribute spiritual power absorbed the water attribute spiritual power. What skill is this? Yi Xiao looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. His spiritual power was actually eaten. How is this possible? Below the stage, Long Ruoxue was also slightly surprised to see the means that Freak used. This should be the first time she saw Freak really make a move. In the past, he only used his fists to directly solve his opponents. My turn. Yi Chen didn't answer him. He immediately threw a punch squarely at the handsome face of Yi Xiao. Soon, the extremely handsome young master had a bruised and swollen head. What was even more pitiful was that Yi Xiao, who had always been regarded as a genius, couldn't fight back at all. Long Ruoxue's face was full of black lines as she looked at Freak unleashing his might on the stage. Here it comes again. Freak always pretends to be pitiful in front of me, but he's full of violence in front of others. Alas, two-faced, do you admit defeat? Yi Chen asked very kindly while beating him. Bullying a member of the Yi family is so enjoyable. After hitting his face, he started hitting other places. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. Yi Xiao slurred incoherently as blood kept flowing from the spot where a few teeth had fallen out. Stop! The referee hurriedly shouted when he saw him admit defeat. If this continued, someone might die. Did I win? Yi Chen looked at the referee innocently. You won, the referee said speechlessly. What kind of person is this? Yi Chen walked down from the stage and directly came to Long Ruoxue's side. Swear I won. Yes, I saw it, Long Ruoxue said helplessly. The match between Feng Moran and Di Fei and the one Hua Qing and Pang San ended with Feng Moran's and Hua Qing's victories. In this way, the 5 matches of the first day were over. After the competition ended, Long Ruoxue and the others returned to the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion. Over the following 2 days, another 10 individual matches were carried out. Long Ruoxue, Yi Chen, Feng Moran, Hua Qing, and Muli won both their matches and were temporarily tied for first place. After the first 3 days of the finals, there would be a 2-day break. Hee lass, our academy must win the individual competition, Elder Chiu said with a smile in the reception room. The individual competition was the most important competition in the academy competition. Elder Chiu, Pang San from the Lunar Shadow Academy lost all 3 of his matches. We should be on our guard against the Lunar Shadow Academy, lest they act desperately, Long Ruoxue reminded. Pang San was the only one left from the Lunar Shadow Academy, and the academy had pinned all its hopes on him. That's true. The Lunar Shadow Academy is notorious for its despicableness. How about this? For the next 2 days, all of you will stay in the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion and don't go out. Even if you must go out, don't go out alone, Elder Chiu said after thinking. Okay. Long Ruoxue and the others nodded. This was the best they could do for now. After the meeting, Long Ruoxue returned to her room and entered the Heaven and Earth bracelet. Big sister. Qingju appeared in front of Long Ruoxue. Long Ruoxue picked up the little toddler. Qingju, why don't you grow up? I will naturally grow up when Big Sister unlocks my seal, Qingju explained. Who knows how long that will take? Long Ruoxue was depressed. The heaven-defying art had 9 levels, but she hadn't even broken through the 2nd level yet. This won't do. I need to focus on cultivation after the academy competition ends. Big sister, someone is knocking on the door, Qingju reminded. Oh. Long Ruoxue exited the Heaven and Earth bracelet and opened the door to see Freak standing outside. What's the matter? Long Ruoxue asked while looking at Freak. Before she returned to her room, she had told them not to disturb her unless it was something important. Wang Fulian is here. Do you want to see him? Yi Chen said with some displeasure. Why is he here? Long Ruoxue was puzzled, her beautiful face full of doubts. I don't know. Do you want to see him? I'll meet him, Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Lung Ruoxue left her room and went to the reception room with Freak. Huang Fulian was sitting in the reception room and chatting with her grandfather. Miss Lung. Huang Fulian stood up when he saw her. Your Highness the Crown Prince, please have a seat. What brings you here, Your Highness? Lung Ruoxue asked directly. Don't call me Your Highness. Just call me Huang Fulian, Huang Fulian quickly said, not wanting Lung Ruoxue to be too distant. Okay. Lung Ruoxue didn't decline. Imperial Mother asked me to come, Huang Fulian explained. What did Her Majesty say? Huang Fuyu woke up, but she has already become a fool. Imperial Mother asked me to remind you to be careful. Noble consort Su won't let you go. Huang Fulian explained the reason for his visit to Lung Ruoxue. Thank Her Majesty for her concern on my behalf. I will be careful, Lung Ruoxue said politely. I've finished what I wanted to say. I will take my leave now, Huang Fulian said as he stood up. He really didn't know how to please a girl, and he felt very awkward because of what his mother had urged him before he came here. Grandpa, what do you think? Lung Ruoxue asked after seeing Huang Fulian off. Schwer, let's be more vigilant these few days, Lung Qingtian said after some thought. He knew very well how bad Su Lianer was, so he couldn't let her hurt his grandchildren. Oh, by the way, Schwer, I think I saw the 7th prince at the competition venue that day, Lung Qingtian suddenly said after remembering. The 7th prince? He's here in Lunar Capital? No wonder Lung Ruoxue felt that someone was watching her recently. Is it the 7th prince? Chapter 119. Proposing marriage to whom? 1. Grandpa, don't worry about him. He's probably here with Su Nair, Lung Ruoxue guessed after some thought. Okay, Grandpa, I'm going back to my room. All right. The 2-day break passed quickly. On the morning of the 4th day of the individual finals, Lung Ruoxue and the others arrived at the competition venue. After drawing lots, they sat by the edge of the stage and waited. Lung Ruoxue's opponent today was Feng Moran, and her match was the first today. The time for the match came quickly. After the referee gave the order, the two of them walked onto the stage. Referee, I admit defeat, Feng Moran said to the referee as soon as the match began. Are you sure? The referee looked at Feng Moran to confirm. Yes. All right. Lung Ruoxue wins the first match today, the referee announced helplessly. Big brother Feng, what are you doing? Lung Ruoxue asked unpleasantly after they got off the stage. All 4 of her opponents had admitted defeat in all 4 of her matches. Schwer, we are self-aware and sensible. How can we be your opponents? In that case, why waste time? Instead of doing this, it's better to preserve our strength to deal with other opponents, Feng Moran explained with a smile. That's right. Mississippi, we're all family, so there's no need to fuss over it. Uniting against the outside is the most important thing, Feng said as he came forward. Schwer, what they said is very reasonable. Freak echoed. Don't tell me you're also planning to admit defeat? Lung Ruoxue asked while looking at Freak. She had always been unclear about Freak's strength, and she really wanted to have a good fight with him. Yes, Schwer, you are the head of our family. How can I beat you? You have to show me mercy. Freak said ingratiatingly to Lung Ruoxue. Am the head of the family? Lung Ruoxue asked while staring at Freak. Yes, you are definitely the head. Then will you definitely listen to me? Lung Ruoxue smiled lightly. Of course I will. What if I don't allow you to admit defeat? Lung Ruoxue looked at Freak with unfathomable depth, a trace of cunning flashing in her beautiful eyes. Schwer, please show mercy in front of so many people. If you want to use domestic violence against me, you can beat me up when no one is around. Freak looked at Lung Ruoxue pitifully with a pleading face. Lung Ruoxue was at a loss for words. This Freak is bullshitting. When did I start using domestic violence against him? Lung Ruoxue, you relied on your teammates admitting defeat to win so many rounds. What kind of skill is that? Big Brother Qing will definitely defeat you. At this moment, Shiminya walked over and spoke with a face full of disdain. Where did this crazy woman come from? So rude. Lung Ruoxue glanced at Shiminya and said indifferently, Damn it, who did you say is a crazy woman? Shiminya roared without any regard for her image. Calm down. Your beloved big brother Qing definitely doesn't like shrews. Look at Miss Shui. She's much gentler than you. Lung Ruoxue deliberately glanced at Shui Xinran, who was staying tenderly beside Hua Qing, and showed concern for her well-being. Shimin Ya's schemes were far inferior to Shui Xinran's. She wouldn't be a match for Shui Xinran even if there were 10 of her. You. Humph. Shimin Ya glared at Long Ruoxue, but she looked at Yichen lovingly. Then she walked elegantly back to Hua Qing. Big brother Qing, Yair will cheer for you. Shimin Ya's gentle voice sounded not far away. Lung Ruoxue felt her hair stand on end. These women are really good at acting. Schwer, you have to cheer for me too. Freak said a little arrogantly. His opponent today was Hua Qing. He would definitely beat the living daylights out of him. Humph. Anyone who dares covet my woman deserves to die. Yes, you must win today. Lung Ruoxue nodded. Don't worry. I won't let my future wife down, Freak promised. The next match was Hua Qing versus Yichen. Schwer, it's my turn. Freak turned and walked onto the stage. I won't show mercy, Hua Qing said politely. No one wants you to show mercy, Yichen said impatiently. There's something wrong with the people from the Rising Dragon Academy. Why do they always say such things before fighting? Then let's begin. Hua Qing didn't want to waste any more time. These students from the Heavenly Phoenix Academy were his greatest enemies this year. Cut the crap, Yichen said unhappily. He had to hurry up and finish the fight so that he could accompany Schwer. Hearing this, Hua Qing was a little angry and directly used his strongest spiritual skill, Blazing Cloud Mountain. An enormous mass of fire attribute spiritual power pressed down on Yichen like a towering mountain. Amazing! That should be your Hua family's most powerful heavenly spiritual skill. A middle-aged man said to a man of the same age beside him in the VIP seats. Yes, only geniuses like Qinger are qualified to learn this spiritual skill, and ordinary geniuses aren't allowed to use it, the middle-aged man said with a face full of pride. Qinger was the most outstanding child of their Hua family this generation and his pride at the same time. That Yichen is also very mysterious. I wonder who will win this battle, another middle-aged man said curiously. By the way, Brother Yi, isn't Yichen from your Yi family? He turned to the taciturn middle-aged man in black beside him. The man in black pursed his lips tightly and said with a serious expression, He's from a side branch of our Yi family. This damn bastard from a side branch actually dared to injure my son. Moreover, his talent is higher than my son's. I can't let Yichen live, or he might become a threat to my son in the future. The black-clothed man pondered in his heart and already had the desire to kill Yichen. The people in the VIP seats were harboring different thoughts. Lung Ruoxue, who was below the stage, watched as the massive fire attribute spiritual power pressed toward Freak. She was also a little worried. She could feel the pressure of the spiritual power below the stage, not to mention Freak on the stage. She didn't know if Freak would be able to deal with it. As she thought about this, her heart couldn't help clenching. Chapter 120. Proposing marriage to whom? 2. On the stage, Yichen looked at the spiritual power rushing at him and smiled nonchalantly. He casually released his dark attribute spiritual power, and the fist-sized black spiritual power fearlessly welcomed the fire attribute spiritual power that was more than 100 times larger than it. Soon, the fist-sized black spiritual power was surrounded by the fire attribute spiritual power and disappeared. Isn't this picking a losing battle? What's the point of such tiny spiritual power? That's right. It seems like young Master Hua will definitely win this battle. The audience started discussing again. Hua Qing didn't care about the audience's discussions below the stage at all, because he didn't believe that Yichen really only had this little trick. Don't tell me you only have this little trick. If that's the case, you will disappoint me tremendously, Hua Qing said with full battle intent. Finding a good opponent wasn't easy. You will know soon. How did that happen? Someone in the audience exclaimed. The fire attribute's spiritual power on the stage became smaller and smaller, and the dark attribute's spiritual power that was supposed to be devoured slowly became stronger and stronger. Seeing this scene, everyone was speechless. On the first day of the finals, Yichen had used this move to defeat the young master of the Yi family. They didn't expect him to use the same move today. What kind of spiritual technique was this? How could it consume spiritual power of any attribute? After the tiny dark attribute's spiritual power completed its mission, it immediately returned to its master's side and began circling Yi Chun as if it was asking for credit for its achievement. Yi Chun stretched out his hand and held the dark attribute's spiritual power. After a while, the spiritual power disappeared. Now it's my turn, Yi Chun said lightly. Hua Qing had attacked first just now. As soon as Yi Chun finished speaking, a strand of black spiritual power that was thinner than a strand of hair assaulted Hua Qing. When the strand of spiritual power reached Hua Qing, it coiled around him. Hua Qing was stunned and wanted to break free, but he couldn't do it no matter how hard he struggled. Then a fist greeted his handsome face, and even his body wasn't spared. Below the stage, Long Ruoxue had a few drops of cold sweat hanging on her forehead. What does Freak have against them? He especially aims for the face. Yishao was like this too. Alas, how pitiful. A stunningly beautiful man is going to have a pig's head again. You barbarian, quickly stop. You're not allowed to beat up Big Brother Qing. Watching in the audience, Shui Xinran immediately lost her composure when she saw her beloved getting beaten up. She yelled out without caring about her image. Shiminyu was a little stunned to see this situation, but she was not as worked up as Shui Xinran. After all, she wasn't someone who would only marry Hua Qing. She only liked the strong, and she would marry whoever was the strongest. The mighty Yi Chun was so masculine now. Referee, did I win? Yi Chun still looked at the referee innocently. Why you won? The referee said weakly. Even though Hua Qing didn't admit defeat, he obviously didn't have the strength to fight back. Moreover, the referee was certain that if he didn't announce that Yi Chun won, he would continue hitting Hua Qing. Thank you. Yi Chun thanked him politely and walked off the stage calmly. On the other hand, Hua Qing was carried down. Big Brother Yi, you're amazing. Shiminye was the first to welcome Yi Chun when she saw him coming down and looked at him like a love-struck fool. Don't call me Big Brother Yi. Get lost. Yi Chun roared impatiently. Then without so much as a glance at Shiminye, he strode directly to Long Ruoxue's side with a fawning face. Swear, I won. Do you have any reward for me? Freak's beautiful face looked at Long Ruoxue expectantly. What reward do you want? Long Ruoxue looked at Freak with a spurious smile. Kiss me, Freak said shyly. Okay, close your eyes. Long Ruoxue agreed generously. Okay. Freak was so excited. Schwer is finally going to kiss me. He closed his eyes obediently. Done kissing. Long Ruoxue said lightly. Why you're done? Why was it so fast? She only kissed my cheek, and it didn't feel right. It felt fluffy. Schwer, you kissed me too fast. I didn't feel it, Freak said with some dissatisfaction. But his gaze was somewhat suspicious as he looked at the little silver wolf in Long Ruoxue's arms. When did this little thing run out? Little Feng Feng, kiss him again, Long Ruoxue said to the little silver wolf in her arms. Big sister. Little Feng Feng's fluffy little face was full of shyness. Woo-woo. Big sister is so evil. My first kiss was actually given to a male. Schwer, I was kissed by this little thing? Freak asked with a look of horror as his hand kept wiping the place where he was just kissed. Yes, what's the matter? Long Ruoxue pretended to be confused as she looked at Freak with a puzzled face. Boo-hoo. I wanted you to kiss me. Freak looked at Long Ruoxue aggrievedly with tears overflowing in his beautiful eyes, threatening to fall at any moment. You didn't say. Long Ruoxue's expression was very innocent. Then I'll tell you now. Schwer, kiss me now. Freak insisted. No. You said kiss you once already, and it's over now, Long Ruoxue said resolutely. Schwer, you're too evil. How can you bully me like this? The more he thought about it, the more aggrieved he felt. He simply turned his head and ignored Long Ruoxue. Hey, Freak. Long Ruoxue poked his back gently. Who would have thought that not only did Freak ignore her, but his shoulders also kept shaking as if he was crying. Is he really crying in public? Long Ruoxue had a lot of questions. No, I can't be fooled. Freak loves to act pitiful in front of me. With this in mind, Lung Ruoxue decided to ignore him, lest he took the opportunity to make another request. When the matches for the day ended, they returned to the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion, but Freak still ignored Lung Ruoxue. The 5th day, the 6th day, the competition continued as planned. But from the 4th day until the 6th day of the finals, Freak continued to ignore Lung Ruoxue. Chapter 121. Proposing Marriage to Whom? 3. Elegance Lagoon Pavilion. In the reception room of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, Miss, haven't you made up with Deputy Leader Yi? Fengde couldn't help asking when he walked to Lung Ruoxue's side. During the past 2 days, the tension between Deputy Leader Yi and their young lady had made things so tense that they didn't dare to speak loudly, and everyone was very cautious. He refuses to talk to me, so there's nothing I can do, Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Isn't Freak a little too petty? It's been more than 2 days, and he's still ignoring me. Miss, men need to be coaxed. You are a woman, so you should give in to Deputy Leader Yi, Fengde said, thinking that he was being very fair. When Lung Ruoxue heard Fengde's words, she broke out in cold sweat. What does he mean by men need to be coaxed? What does he mean by women should give in to men? Why does this sound so uncomfortable to me? Isn't it the opposite? I might not have been in love in my previous life, but you shouldn't lie to me like this. Miss, go and coax Deputy Leader Yi. He's easy to coax, Fengde continued. Oh, all right. She couldn't continue like this. She was really not used to having Freak not sticking to her. Lung Ruoxue left the reception room and went straight to Freak's room. She knocked on the door of the room, but no one answered. No one? I didn't hear Freak going out. Lung Ruoxue waited for a while and was about to leave when the door opened. What are you doing? Lung Ruoxue couldn't help asking when she entered the room. Freak is really too abnormal. In a daze, Freak said coldly, his eyes still a little red. Are you still angry? I was wrong. Don't be angry, okay? Lung Ruoxue coaxed patiently. Freak lowered his head and didn't say anything. I'm talking to you. Did you hear me? Freak still didn't say anything. If you're not going to say anything, I'm leaving. Lung Ruoxue threatened and turned around to leave. She had just taken 2 steps when a pair of strong arms hugged her tightly. You're not allowed to go, Freak said domineeringly as he hugged her even more tightly. You're ignoring me, but I'm not allowed to leave? Lung Ruoxue said deliberately, but she was overjoyed in her heart. Freak isn't the only one who can act. You bullied me first, Freak said aggrievedly. Lung Ruoxue was about to say something when her grandfather interrupted her. Shuer, someone from the Hua family is here. Lung Qingtian knocked on Yuchen's door. Okay, Grandpa. Freak, could the Hua family be here to settle scores with you? Lung Ruoxue guessed. It would be strange if the Hua family would let Freak go after he beat up the genius young master of the Hua family to the point that his face flew all over the place. Okay, then you have to protect me, Yichen said a little arrogantly. Oh, Shuer smells so good and feels so soft. Let's go take a look, Lung Ruoxue said. There are still 3 rounds before the individual competition is over. What does the Hua family want by sending someone here at this time? Must we go? Freak said reluctantly. How could he bear to leave when a beauty was in his arms? Boo-hoo. This is such a bad time. His patience for the past 2 days was all for this moment. Grandpa called us, so of course we have to go, Lung Ruoxue said. Grandpa won't bother me unless it's something important. All right then, Freak said reluctantly, but he refused to let go of Shuer. He hadn't hugged her enough yet. Let go. How can we go out like this? No, I haven't hugged you enough, Freak said willfully. Let's go see what's the matter first. He'll let you hug me when we're back, Lung Ruoxue coaxed. Why does Freak behave like a child at times? It's a promise, Freak said happily. Yes, I said so. After leaving the room, they went to the reception room, where an elder sent by the Hua family was waiting for her. Lass, this is the Hua family's first elder, Elder Chiu introduced. Greetings, first elder. Lung Ruoxue greeted the tall and thin man, who was around 50 years old. Hee, Miss Lung is too polite. The Hua family's first elder looked at Lung Ruoxue with satisfaction. Long Ruoxue was no longer the Long Ruoxue of the past. She was no longer the hateful simpleton who knew how many people were thinking of her. But only their young master was worthy of such a woman with both strength and beauty. The Hua family's first elder thought of his mission this time. He casually glanced at Yi Chun beside Long Ruoxue and frowned slightly. Although Yi Chun was strong, he had no way to compare with their young master in terms of identity and status. Therefore, he was very confident that Long Ruoxue would definitely make the best choice after hearing his intentions. First Elder, what brings you here today? Long Ruoxue asked bluntly. Her time was precious, so it was better to get straight to the point. Hee, Miss Long, don't be anxious. Listen to me slowly. The First Elder was very calm. First Elder, please speak directly. We have matches the day after tomorrow. Long Ruoxue said. What she implied was that he should say it quickly and that they didn't have so much time to waste with him. Miss Long is an impatient person, the First Elder said with a smile, his expression very amiable. It's good that First Elder knows. Long Ruoxue was losing her patience with this slow First Elder. It's like this. General Long, Miss Long, am here today to propose marriage. The First Elder revealed his purpose, but his words were like a bomb that almost blasted the souls of everyone present out of their bodies. Propose marriage? To whom? Long Qingtian stammered. Am I hearing things? Of course it's Miss Long, the First Elder said matter-of-factly. What? Freak was furious when he heard this. Does the Hua family treat me as a decoration? They actually came to propose marriage to my fiancé. They're really going too far. Chapter 122. Proposing marriage to whom? 4. What are you so excited about? Let the First Elder finish speaking. Long Ruoxue hurriedly coaxed and pulled Freak, who was so angry that he wanted to beat him up. All right, I'll bear with it. Let's see what else this First Elder has to say. Yi Chun endured his anger and glared at the First Elder of the Hua family. Wait, First Elder, which Miss Long? Long Qingtian was a little lost. He only had one granddaughter, and she was already engaged. General, you really like to crack jokes. Of course it's Miss Long Ruoxue. Don't you only have this one granddaughter? The First Elder tried his best to ignore the glare directed at him. First Elder, I'm sorry. My granddaughter already has a fiancé, Long Qingtian explained. General Long, Miss Long is so outstanding, so of course you should have a better choice. Don't you think so? The First Elder directly ignored the fact that Long Ruoxue had a fiancé and enticed her. He believed that no woman could refuse his proposal. I wonder who the better choice you're referring to is? Long Qingtian pretended to be stupid. After all, the Hua family was the biggest family on the Lingfeng continent, so he didn't want to offend them if possible. The Hua family is too much. Who do they think they are? General Long. If Miss Long marries our young master, then she will be the future mistress of our Hua family. With such a noble identity, I believe all women will be envious of her, the First Elder said confidently. First Elder, is the young master you're talking about Hua Qing? Long Qingtian asked. Of course. Our Hua family only has one young master, the First Elder said very clearly. First Elder, if I remember correctly, Hua Qing should already have a fiancé, Long Qingtian said with some displeasure. This Hua family is really too much. Do they really think that their young master is in high demand? General Long, you don't have to worry about that. Our patriarch said that after Miss Long marries in, she will be of equal status with Miss Shui Xinran. They will both be the main wives. Having multiple wives isn't a big deal for men, but the status of the main wife is unshakable, the First Elder assured. Sitting by the side, Yi Chun listened to the First Elder's self-righteous words and was so angry that he really wanted to send the First Elder to see his ancestors. But Schwer kept pulling him back, not letting him act rashly. All right, I'll bear with it. Anyway, I know that Schwer definitely won't marry Hua Qing. He was still confident about this. First Elder, does Hua Qing know about this? Long Ruoxue suddenly asked. She guessed that Hua Qing shouldn't know because he wouldn't humiliate himself with his proud nature. Don't worry, Miss Long. The young master will follow the patriarch's arrangements, the First Elder hurriedly said. He thought Lung Ruoxue was afraid that the young master was unwilling. Hua Qing really doesn't know. Since he doesn't know about this, why did the Hua family come to propose marriage at this time? Lung Ruoxue pondered. First Elder, do you think marrying Hua Qing is my best choice? Lung Ruoxue asked lightly, making it impossible to guess what she was thinking. Of course. Marrying our young master is the dream of countless women, the First Elder said very proudly. But I don't want to. Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly, her beautiful face still expressionless. What? You're unwilling? The First Elder couldn't help exclaiming after being stunned for a moment. There's actually a woman unwilling to marry our young master. How is this possible? He had always been confident about their young master's charm, so he was totally unable to accept it when he heard a woman rejecting their young master. First Elder, do you have any questions? Lung Ruoxue looked as if she was answering his doubts with as much sincerity as possible. Why aren't you willing? Our young master is the future patriarch of the Hua family and also a stunning genius. Such a man is the dream of all women. The First Elder really couldn't understand. This young lady doesn't share a husband with others, Lung Ruoxue said bluntly. She was obsessed about cleanliness with men, and she wouldn't accept anyone who had been tainted by others. But it's only right for a man to have multiple wives and concubines, the First Elder said as though it was obvious. The status of women in this world was actually not high, and most of them were just pawns of their families for marriage alliances. They had to rely on men to survive, so he was very confident that Lung Ruoxue would be very happy with the Hua family's proposal. But was Lung Ruoxue an ordinary woman? Of course not. First Elder, may I ask why it's only right for a man to have multiple wives and concubines? Lung Ruoxue said with some displeasure. She hated people who favored males over females the most, because of the high status of men. In this world, the strong are respected, and almost all the strong are men, the First Elder explained. So, according to what First Elder says, powerhouses with high status can have multiple wives. Lung Ruoxue smiled faintly. Of course. It's only right and proper for powerhouses to do whatever they want. What level would be considered a powerhouse? Lung Ruoxue asked. At least spiritual sovereign. According to First Elder's logic, I can also have multiple husbands and concubines then. Lung Ruoxue said matter-of-factly. You are a woman. How can you have such thoughts? The First Elder said very disapprovingly. The most important thing for a woman is to be virtuous. How can she have such absurd thoughts? But it was First Elder who said that the strong are respected. Anything the strong want to do is right and proper. Lung Ruoxue repeated the First Elder's words. But, the First Elder stammered. Could it be that First Elder doesn't think him a powerhouse? Lung Ruoxue forcefully asked while staring at the First Elder. But you're a woman, the First Elder said with a depressed face, unwilling to give up. There are differences between male and female powerhouses? First Elder, you have to change your way of thinking, Lung Ruoxue said earnestly. The First Elder was speechless, very speechless. But he could see that he had failed his mission this time. Lung Ruoxue would absolutely never marry their young master as long as Shui Xinran was around. Alas, what should I do? Chapter 123. The Unlucky Hua Family, 1. In fact, deep down, he felt that Lung Ruoxue was more suitable for their young master than Shui Xinran. He originally thought that while Shui Xinran's talent was mediocre, she was still the eldest young lady of the Shui family and the #1 beauty on the Lingfeng continent. She was barely qualified to be the future mistress of the Hua family. However, not only was Shui Xinran not as strong as Lung Ruoxue, but she also paled in comparison in what she had the most pride in, beauty. Alas, Shui Xinran isn't worthy of our young master no matter how I think about it now. Miss Lung, don't be in a hurry to decline this matter. In my opinion, you should consider it carefully. As for Shui Xinran, I have to go back and discuss it with the patriarch before we can make the final decision, the First Elder said without giving up. He was even sure in his heart that if it weren't for Shui Xinran, Lung Ruoxue would definitely agree to marry their young master. After hearing what the First Elder said, Lung Ruoxue really didn't want to explain anything. It seemed that not only did the first elder not understand what she meant, but he even seemed to have misunderstood something. After sending off the Hua family's first elder, Long Qingtian and Elder Chiu found an excuse to go back to their rooms to rest. Only Long Ruoxue and Freak were left in the large reception room. Shuer, why didn't you let me talk just now? Freak's face was full of dissatisfaction. If Shuer hadn't been pulling him back, he would have beaten someone up just now. Don't tell me you want to beat up the Hua family's first elder like how you beat up Hua Qing? That old man is merely a messenger, Long Ruoxue explained. Well, what you say is reasonable. Then he'll go beat up Hua Qing, Freak said very seriously after thinking about it. Why don't you just beat up the Hua family's patriarch as well? Long Ruoxue teased. Why does Freak like to beat people up so much? Okay, they'll listen to Shuer, Freak said ingratiatingly. Then he turned around and walked out. Wait, where are you going? Long Ruoxue hurriedly grabbed Freak. Beat people up. Hearing the succinct answer from Freak, Long Ruoxue couldn't help but break out in cold sweat. Freak is really violent. Damn Freak, stay still. All you know is to beat people up. The competition resumes the day after tomorrow. You can't beat them up now, Long Ruoxue growled. All right, they'll go and beat them up after the competition, Freak said obediently. Boo-hoo. Shuer is so fierce. I'm scared. Do you think you can beat up the Hua family just because you want to? Long Ruoxue glared at Freak. It was one thing to beat them up on the stage. The Hua family had to bear with it even though they were angry. But it would really not be a wise move if they provoked the Hua family off the stage. Moreover, it would give the Hua family a good reason to attack. Then what should we do? Freak looked at Shuer aggrievedly. Freak, let's go back as soon as the competition ends. We'll deal with those people slowly in the future. Long Ruoxue suggested. They were really too weak now. Improving their strength was the most important task. Fine, Freak said reluctantly. Good. Long Ruoxue caressed Freak's head like she was petting a pet. Shuer. Freak looked at Shuer with shining eyes and hugged her. Shuer took the initiative to touch me again. I'm so happy. Freak, let go of me. Long Ruoxue looked at Freak, who suddenly hugged her. Damn Freak, I'm suffocating from you hugging so tightly. I don't wanna. You said you would let me hug you. But you're hugging me too tightly, Long Ruoxue said helplessly. Hee. Shuer, let's do something bad tonight. Freak suggested with a devious smile as he loosened his arms. Where? Long Ruoxue asked curiously with raised brows. Doing bad things. I like them. Shuer, the Hua family has too much money to spend. So I think we should do something good and spend some on their behalf, Freak said very kindly. Since Shuer didn't want him to come openly, he should come secretly. After all, this marriage proposal made him feel uncomfortable, so he had to take revenge. Then let's go late at night. Long Ruoxue said after some thought. Robbery and whatnot were the most enjoyable. It was late at night, and most people were sleeping soundly. Long Ruoxue looked up. It was pitch black. She didn't expect even the heavens to take care of them. It was cloudy tonight, and such weather was the best for doing bad things. While everyone was sound asleep, Long Ruoxue and Freak quietly left the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion. They sat on Quill's back and flew to the Hua family's main residence. In her arms lay two small and cute foxes, one black and one white, and a small golden snake coiled around her wrist. With a face full of black lines, Long Ruoxue looked at Dazzle and Rise, feeling a little helpless. She didn't know if these two little fellows were bored to death, but they were so excited when they heard that they were going to do something bad. They immediately signed up to participate. After reaching the Hua family's main residence, Quill found a secluded place and descended. About an hour later, the 2 humans and 4 beasts left the Hua residence in satisfaction. Freak, what was the powder you blew into Huai's room? Long Ruoxue asked curiously while sitting on Quill's back. Medicine. Of course I know it's medicine. I'm asking what medicine it is. A type of medicine that can cause a man to lose a certain function, Freak explained very ambiguously. This kind of thing shouldn't be explained too clearly. Anyway, he wouldn't let anyone who dared to have any ideas about Shuer off. Long Ruoxue was speechless. It can't be what I think it is. Freak is too cruel. Soon, they returned to the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion. The next day, Long Ruoxue, and the others went to the restaurant downstairs for breakfast. Just as she found a seat and sat down, she heard the discussion from the table beside her. Hey, did you hear? The Hua family was robbed last night. Not only were a lot of valuable things stolen, but a fire was also set off. I heard that at least a third of the Hua family's mansion was burned away. What a pity. The Hua family's mansion is even more luxurious and extravagant than the imperial palace of our South Dusk Empire, Passerby said with a mysterious expression. Your news isn't the latest. It's outdated, Passerby said disdainfully. Chapter 124. The Unlucky Hua Family 2. What's the latest news? Passerby asked curiously. He just heard the news this morning. How did it become outdated so quickly? The latest news is, Passerby looked around carefully. The Hua family's patriarch, Hua Yi, has become impotent, Passerby said very quietly. Is this true? Passerby couldn't believe it. It's absolutely true. The news is absolutely reliable, Passerby said solemnly. What a pity for his many concubines. Passerby felt great pity. Listening to the two people's whispered discussion, Long Ruoxue was really speechless. Where did these two clowns come from? They actually dared to talk about the Hua family's patriarch in the Hua family's territory. But how did this news spread so quickly? It seems to have spread in just one night. Thinking of this, she deliberately glanced at Freak, who had a very calm expression. In the Hua family's main residence, in the main hall, Hua Yi, the Hua family's patriarch, sat in the main seat with a gloomy face. On both sides of him were sitting the elders of the Hua family. Elders, tell us the results of your investigation, Hua said coldly with a livid face. Patriarch, according to my investigation, the news that you can't perform was spread from a servant of the Su family, the elder sitting in the second row on the left said carefully. Su family. Hua Yi gritted his teeth and frowned. His handsome face was full of anger. How dare the Su family provoke me? I won't let them off. Patriarch, there's also evidence that the theft of our treasury was done by the Su family, another elder said. He found a Su family token on the path not far from the treasury, and that path happened to be the one people had to take to get to the treasury. The Su family is really too despicable, the elders said one after another. Everyone's face was extremely angry. The loss of the treasury was an enormous loss for their Hua family. Patriarch, elders, don't jump to conclusions yet. What if someone framed the Su family? Wouldn't we have fallen into their trap? The first elder reminded calmly. For some reason, he felt that something was amiss. First elder, you are too kind. This Su family has been at odds with our Hua family for a long time. They must have done it. A more fiery-tempered elder roared. Patriarch, it's very likely that the Su family is behind this, but we should still consider it at length. The elders discussed and expressed their views. Elders, calm down. I understand your intentions, but the most important thing now is the academy competition. We will talk about the other things after the academy competition is over. Hua made the final decision. The academy competition was related to the number of spots for the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm, and it was of the utmost importance. After hearing Hua Yi's words, all the elders fell silent. First elder, is Long Ruoxue really unwilling to marry Qinger? Hua Yi asked with a displeased face while looking at the first elder. Yes, she said she doesn't want to share a husband with others, the first elder said, but he was also a little displeased. He had already reported to the patriarch when he returned yesterday, but the patriarch actually asked again today. Ridiculous. It's normal for a man to have multiple wives and concubines. Why can't she accept it? Hua Yi roared furiously. This Long Ruoxue really doesn't know how to appreciate favors. The main reason why he was willing to send someone to the Long family to propose marriage was actually for the final competition. He didn't want his best son to lose to a woman. Patriarch, I personally think Long Ruoxue is more suitable to be the mistress of the Hua family than Shui Xinran. Please consider it carefully. The first elder repeated his proposal. No. The marriage with the Shui family can't be cancelled. Hua Yi denied directly. No matter how outstanding Long Ruoxue was, she couldn't compare to the 5 great families. Seeing how insistent the patriarch was, The first elder had nothing else to say. In the reception room on the 5th floor of the elegant Lagoon Pavilion, Lass, the competition resumes tomorrow, Elder Chio said.
Yes.
Lass, are you confident? Elder Chio continued asking.
Yes.
Lass, can't you say a few more words each time? Elder Chio looked at Long Ruashue with some bitterness. Of course. There were 2 words now. Elder Chio was helpless. Elder Chio, just ask me what you want to know. Seeing his pitiful appearance, Long Ruashue decided not to tease him anymore. Lass, have you heard about the Hua family? Elder Chio probed. Yes. I heard some people talking about it while we were eating downstairs, Long Ruashue said lightly. Then this matter. This matter has nothing to do with you, right? Elder Chio said while looking at Yi-chan. Of course it has nothing to do with us. It's the Hua family. How can small families like us afford to offend them? Right, Grandpa? Yes, Shuer is right. We can't afford to offend the Hua family, nor do we dare to, Long Qingtian said in agreement. You don't dare to offend them? You even dared to refuse the Hua family's proposal, and you still dare to say that you don't dare to offend them? Elder Chio snorted in his head. Elder Chio, I didn't expect you to be so gossipy, Long Ruashue teased. Has this old man been too idle recently? Hee. I'm just curious. This is the most popular topic in Lunar Capital now, Elder Chio said. Hawaii is really pitiful. Elder Chio, we are leaving after the competition. You should prepare. Long Ruashue reminded. I'm going back to my room. Long Ruashue turned and left the reception room. Shuer, wait for me. Freak chased after her. Old Long, who do you think did it? Elder Chio pestered Long Qingtian again after Long Ruashue left. How would I know? Don't they say it's the Su family? Long Qingtian said without interest. Don't you want to know the truth? Elder Chio asked, unwilling to give up. Why do I feel that this matter has something to do with that girl?
No.
Long Qingtian turned and left. Chapter 125. The Unlucky Hua Family, 3. Old Long, don't go. Let's keep chatting. Elder Chio shouted from behind, but no one responded. The next day was the 7th day of the individual finals. Shuer, there seemed to be more people watching the competition today than the previous few days, Feng Moran said as he looked at the sea of people in the audience while sitting on the side and waiting for the matches to start. Yes, the competition ends in 3 days. If you don't watch it now, you'll have to wait 3 years, Long Ruashue said understandingly. The matches these 3 days should be the most intense, and accidents might happen at any time. After 6 rounds of the finals, Long Ruashue was temporarily ranked first in the individual competition with a flawless record. Yi Chen and Hua Qing were tied in 2nd place, while Mu Li and Feng Moran were in 3rd and 4th. Theoretically, the 5 of them were the most powerful contenders for the championship. Long Ruakshue's remaining opponents were Hua Qing, Yi Xiao, and Peng Senator, and her opponent today was Yi Xiao. Long Ruashue was the last to go on stage today. In the first 4 matches, Yi Chen, Hua Qing, Mu Li, and Feng Moran won. The last match was Long Ruashue versus Yi Xiao. After hearing the referee's words, Long Ruashue slowly walked onto the stage, and Yi Xiao came up from the other side. You are a woman? So we'll let you begin first, Yi Xiao said very gracefully, even though a few of his teeth had been knocked out, making him speak weirdly. But he was still an elegant gentleman when he wasn't speaking. Then I won't hold back. Long Ruashue directly launched an attack after speaking. She wanted to end the battle quickly so that she could go back to sleep. An enormous mass of fire attribute spiritual power rushed toward Yi Xiao. The pitiful genius young master of the Yi family was blasted off the stage before he could even defend himself. Long Ruashue won. I didn't do it on purpose. Long Ruakshue's face was full of innocence as she looked at Yi Xiao, whom she knocked off the stage with one move. I really didn't expect him to be so weak. Miss, didn't you still throw him off the stage even if you didn't do it on purpose? Alas, this young master of the Yi family is really pitiful. He keeps encountering monsters. The audience all looked at Yi Xiao with sympathetic eyes. How pitiful. He was being carried away again. Shuer, you've already won 7 matches in a row. That's great. Freak hurried to Long Ruakshue's side as she walked down from the stage. Freak, Let's go back. I want to sleep, Lung Ruoxue said sleepily. You're sleeping so early? Freak was a little surprised. What time is it now? Boo-hoo. I still wanted to go out with Schwer. Yes, I didn't sleep well last night. Then let's go back. Back at the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion, Lung Ruoxue went straight to her room to sleep. The next day, Lung Ruoxue emerged from her room refreshed after a good night's sleep. There was no suspense on the 8th day of the finals. Lung Ruoxue and the others each defeated their opponents. The 9th day of the finals was also the last day of the individual competition. After today's matches, the champion of the Academy competition would be born. Lung Ruoxue, Yi Qian, and Hua Qing were the strongest contenders for the championship. Lung Ruoxue's last opponent was Hua Qing, and Yi Qian's last opponent was Pang Senator, but everyone present knew that Yi Qian's victory against Pang San was set in stone if nothing unexpected happened. The match between Lung Ruoxue and Hua Qing was the biggest highlight of the day, so everyone was looking forward to seeing an exciting battle. In the VIP seats, Brother Hua, are you all right? A middle-aged man sitting beside Hua Yi asked with concern. Do you think that I'm not? Hua Yi's face darkened with displeasure. Is Feng Miao planning to laugh at me? Outrageous. It's good that you're fine. I was really afraid that you would become like what the rumors say. Feng Miao said with a chuckle. Brother Hua, your Hua family suffered a big loss this time, right? Shui Zhan, the acting patriarch of the Shui family, asked with concern. Although the 5 great families appeared to be harmonious on the surface, they all secretly hoped that the others would suffer misfortune. That small loss is just a drop in the bucket to our Hua family. It's not worth mentioning, Hua Yi said indifferently. He knew that these people definitely wouldn't let him go since he came to watch the competition. It was such a rare opportunity to ridicule him. I wouldn't have come if it wasn't the last day. Brother Hua, money is just worldly possessions. Your body is the most important, the black-robed man said with pursed lips. That's right. I wonder how Yi Xiao is doing. His injuries aren't light. Hua Yi retaliated. Not everyone could laugh at him. Xiao's health is very good. Thank you for your concern, Brother Hua. While the patriarchs of the 5 great families were fighting openly and covertly in the VIP seats, the competition began. Dear guests and spectators, today is the last day of the Academy competition. Therefore, to show fairness, today's matches will be held simultaneously, and admitting defeat is not allowed. The competition officially begins. The host announced the rules of today's matches. After that, the referee gave the order for the 5 groups to go on stage at the same time. The last matches of the finals started on 5 arenas at the same time. However, not long after, the winners of the other 4 arenas were determined. But Lung Ruoxue and Hua Qing had yet to really start fighting. On the stage, Lung Ruoxue was puzzled as to why Hua Qing wasn't in a hurry to attack. Can we begin? Lung Ruoxue asked lightly. She didn't want to waste time. Are you in a hurry? Hua Qing looked at Lung Ruoxue calmly. Yes, let's begin quickly. Stop wasting time. Lung Ruoxue frowned impatiently. Nonsense. How can I not be in a hurry? All right, let's begin. Hua Qing could see Lung Ruoxue's impatience, but he really didn't know how he had offended her and why she hated him so much. Thinking of this, he felt a little depressed. Chapter 126. The Lecherous Envoy from the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm 1. Take this. Lung Ruoxue didn't beat around the bush and directly used Feather of the Fire Phoenix. A beautiful blazing tail feather flew toward Hua Qing. Feather of the Fire Phoenix was the upgraded version of Flame Feather, and it was hundreds of times more powerful, but she didn't unleash her full strength. Otherwise, it would be difficult to say whether Hua Qing would still be alive or not. Hua Qing looked at the tail feather flying toward him. The little feather looked cute, but he didn't dare to let his guard down at all. He hurriedly used Fire Cloud Curtain to block the attack. At the same time, he released Blazing Cloud Mountain to attack Lung Ruoxue. As the giant flame cloud attacked Lung Ruoxue, the tail feather entangled with Hua Qing suddenly changed directions and instead entangled the flame cloud coming toward Lung Ruoxue. However, because the flame cloud was too big, the small tail feather could easily attack it. But the flame cloud couldn't capture the naughty little feather. The audience and the people in the VIP seats looked at the giant flame cloud that seemed to be being teased on the stage, and a few drops of cold sweat dripped down their foreheads uncontrollably. This was really too strange. At this moment, the little feather on the stage began to spin around the giant flame cloud, and its speed became faster and faster. Then it rapidly rushed inside the flame cloud. With a bang, the two clusters of spiritual power exploded in a violent collision. Since both of them used fire attribute spiritual power, when the two clusters of spiritual power collided, the resulting explosion shot straight into the sky, illuminating the entire sky red above the stage. This scene stunned the audience below the stage. This is too powerful. Fortunately, a barrier shielded the audience. Otherwise, the explosion would have definitely killed people. The audience felt the power of the explosion, but what they felt was merely a drop in the ocean. On the stage, Huaqing felt the explosion stronger than anyone else. He swallowed the blood that rushed into his throat and stared at Long Ruoxue in disbelief. Is this her true strength? Do you want to continue fighting? Long Ruoxue asked indifferently. She knew that Huaqing had been injured by the spiritual power collision just now. If she were Huaqing, she would choose to admit defeat. But she wasn't. Please enlighten me. Huaqing's fighting spirit was strong. How could he admit defeat? Although he had lost that move just now, he still wanted to continue fighting. It wasn't easy to find a strong opponent like Long Ruoxue. Okay, since Huaqing wanted to continue fighting, she would accompany him to the end. The spiritual power on the stage constantly danced and violently collided from time to time. In addition to the red fire attribute spiritual power, there were also green wind attribute spiritual power and light blue water attribute spiritual power mixed in. The battle between the two of them also shifted from the stage to midair. All the audience held their breaths and stared at the two of them, afraid of missing a single move. Amazing. Too amazing. This is definitely the most exciting battle of the Academy competition. This trip was really not in vain. All the spectators thought in unison. After a long time, the two of them stopped in unison. You are a rare good opponent, Huaqing said excitedly. He liked to challenge himself, so he had very high standards for himself and his opponents, and ordinary geniuses were not qualified to be his opponents. Likewise, Long Ruoxue was also very satisfied with her opponent, Huaqing. At least, Huaqing would not feel inferior because his opponent was stronger than him. Instead, he became braver as he fought, becoming stronger when facing a stronger opponent. This was very rare in real battles. Although I lost this match, I hope I'll have a chance to fight you again in the future, Huaqing said in high spirits. It wasn't easy to find a good opponent, so he planned to pester Long Ruoxue. Upon hearing this, Long Ruoxue broke out in a cold sweat. What? Hasn't he had enough? This Huaqing is definitely a battle maniac. It was a very scary thing to be entangled by someone like him. Suddenly, Long Ruoxue felt a little regretful, regretting not using her full strength just now. Referee, I lost. Huaqing took the initiative to say to the referee. The referee hiding in the distance nodded, and then walked to the center of the stage with lingering fear. Long Ruoxue wins, the referee shouted. Heavens! The strength of these two people is too terrifying. In this way, Long Ruoxue became the champion of the Academy competition with a perfect record. Yichun was second, and Huaqing only came in third. After the individual competition was over, the Academy competition came to an end, and the ranking of the top 10 academies was officially announced. The Heavenly Phoenix Academy won the Academy competition with absolute superiority. The Rising Dragon Academy was second, the Lunar Shadow Academy was third, the Flying Bird Academy was fourth, and the Landshine Academy was fifth. In the Academy competition this time, the academies in the top 10 also won spots to enter the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm. There were a total of 200 spots to enter the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm, of which, first place, the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, had 50 spots. Second place, the Rising Dragon Academy, had 40 spots. Third place, the Lunar Shadow Academy, had 30 spots. Fourth and fifth places, the Flying Bird Academy and the Landshine Academy, each had 15 spots. The 6th to 10th places each had 10 spots. Everyone, please calm down. The most exciting moment is coming. Next, let's welcome the envoy from the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm to the stage to present the awards to the winners. After the host announced the names of the winners, the awards ceremony began. As representatives of the various academies, Long Ruashue and the others waited on the stage. What thing is an envoy from the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm? Long Ruashue asked Freak beside her curiously. The Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm hasn't even appeared yet an envoy is here. How boring. This uncle is not a thing. A childish voice rang in their ears before Freak could say anything. A palm-sized ball of purple light appeared on the stage. The ball of light seemed to be glaring angrily at Long Ruashue while circling around her. Chapter 127. The lecherous envoy of the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm, 2, Long Ruashue, looked at the purple ball of light that kept flying around her and was a little puzzled. What the heck is this thing? Why is it revolving around me? Stop. Stop spinning. Long Ruashue ordered. This little thing was making her dizzy. The purple ball of light reluctantly stopped and glared at Long Ruashue. Let's see if you still dare to look down on this uncle. It's actually a big butterfly. Long Ruashue only saw it clearly when the purple ball of light stopped. In the ball of light was a butterfly emitting purple light. It was about the size of a palm and very gorgeous, with silver spots of light dotting its purple wings. But those small black eyes were staring at her unfriendly. This little thing even has a grudge against me. Long Ruashue couldn't help laughing slightly. But what is this little thing? A spirit beast? Are you a spirit beast? Long Ruashue asked as she grabbed the beautiful big butterfly. This uncle is not a spirit beast. I am a sprite. Do you understand what sprites are? The butterfly protested. I don't understand. Sprite? Never heard of it. Long Ruashue didn't give it any face. She really had never heard of it. You girl. You've pissed this uncle off. The butterfly said angrily. But its tender voice sounded cute no matter how she looked at it. Girl? Long Ruashue was stunned. Did I hear it right? This big butterfly called me girl. Yes, girl. Smile at me, and this uncle will spare you and not blame you. Uncle Butterfly said very generously. Long Ruashue was at a loss for words. Am I being taken advantage of? Damn it. How dare it call itself an uncle in front of me? How dare it ask me to smile? In fact, it wasn't only her. The others on the stage also felt the same. Is this guy really an envoy of the mystic realm? Why does it behave like a hooligan? Damn butterfly, who gave you the guts to tease my fiancé? Freak was completely enraged after hearing what the butterfly said. This girl is your fiancé? How about this? Name a price. This uncle has taken a fancy to her, Uncle Butterfly said calmly. Rise, come out and teach it some manners. Long Ruashue beckoned indifferently. What did this damn butterfly think she was? She had to teach it a lesson. Master, I'm here. After coming out of the heaven and earth bracelet, Rise enlarged a little. He then coiled around the butterfly that dared to tease his master and threw it directly into the sky. He then caught it, flung it, and caught it countless times. Fun, fun, come on, come on. After being tossed a few times, the butterfly found it interesting. But after countless times, it couldn't take it anymore even though it had wings. Stop, stop. That's enough. I don't want to play anymore. The butterfly thought they were just playing with it. Rise, stop. Long Ruashue said helplessly. Yes, master. Rise threw the dizzy butterfly aside, transformed back into a bracelet, and wrapped around Long Ruashue's wrist. This uncle feels so dizzy. The butterfly flew up unsteadily and came in front of Long Ruashue. Girl, your beast is too disobedient, the butterfly complained, obviously not having learned its lesson yet. Yichin grabbed the butterfly and squeezed it as hard as he could, wanting to crush it into pieces. But the butterfly was only a sprite and didn't have a physical body, so Yichun was only wasting his energy. Freak, why are you competing with it? Long Ruashue was a little speechless. This butterfly is merely a spirit body, but where did it learn to behave like a little hooligan? Was it born like this? Schwer, I'll leave this guy to you to deal with. Freak thought about it. That's right. No matter how hard I squeeze, this butterfly won't know that it hurts. Hurry up and present the awards. Don't waste our time, Long Ruashue ordered as she took the butterfly. Girl, you have to be gentler. The girls serving this uncle these few days are much gentler than you. The butterfly said earnestly with an expression that said, I'm doing this for your own good. Hurry up and present the awards. Long Ruashue couldn't bear it anymore and roared. This butterfly really deserves a beating. All right, since you're so anxious. Alas, this uncle is too kind, the butterfly said with emotion. There are a total of 200 spots for the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm this time. Now, I will begin to give you the qualifications to enter the Mystic Realm, the butterfly said seriously. Then it started spinning again, and countless petals drifted toward Long Ruashue and the others. After a while, the petals disappeared, and a petal mark appeared on everyone's wrist. In addition, Long Ruashue and her group had a few more petals in their hands. All right, this uncle has given you the qualifications. When the Mystic Realm opens, you can enter with this, the butterfly said. It finally completed its task. After the awards ceremony, Long Ruashue and the others walked off the stage. Why are you following me? Long Ruashue looked at the butterfly following her step by step with a headache. You are the biggest winners of this competition, so the task of taking care of this uncle is yours, the butterfly said matter-of-factly. Find someone else, Long Ruashue said coldly. Girl, you can't be so heartless. If you don't take care of me, this uncle will be sleeping on the streets, the butterfly said pitifully. You are a butterfly. Just find a small corner to hide in. And you want sleep on the streets, Long Ruashue said without any sympathy. That's right. The Lunar Shadow Academy will be happy to take you in, Freak suggested. This stinky butterfly probably learned bad things in the Lunar Shadow Academy. Of course, you don't know how good they are to this uncle. They serve me good wine, good food, and good girls every day. But now, this uncle wants to follow you all and get you to serve me. The butterfly's stubborn temper also came up. The more they don't let me follow them, the more I want to follow. Even when Long Ruashue and the others returned to the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion, the butterfly refused to leave and followed Long Ruashue wherever she went. Chapter 128. The Lecherous Envoy of the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm 3. How long do you want to follow me around? Long Ruashue roared furiously. This perverted butterfly actually wanted to follow her to the washroom. This uncle wants to follow you all the time, the butterfly said seriously. Its mission was to follow and make sure that it found someone pleasing to the eye. Now that it found this girl, who else would it follow but her? I'm going to the washroom now. You can't follow me. Long Ruashue hollered. Why? The butterfly didn't understand. Couldn't it go there? No reason. Wait here and don't follow me in. Long Ruashue ordered. Oh, all right then. This girl seems a little angry. So scary. Afterward, Long Ruashue went straight to the reception room, where everyone was. Tell me, how should we deal with this little thing? Long Ruashue said helplessly as she looked at the butterfly, who also flew in. Swear, just let it be if it wants to follow you. Long Qingtian said with some amusement. He could see that his precious granddaughter was about to break down because of this beautiful butterfly. Lu Tao, Chuizhu, you two take care of it, Long Ruashue said to her two maidservants. The two of them seemed to have had too much free time on their hands since they came to the Southern Dusk Empire. Yes, Mississippi. Just follow them from now on, Long Ruashue said to the butterfly. The butterfly circled Lu Tao and Chuizhu twice before flying back to Long Ruashue. I don't want them. They're not sexy enough, the butterfly said very honestly. You're just a butterfly. Why do you want them to be sexy? Long Ruashue roared furiously. It's good for the eyes. The butterfly's small black and shiny eyes emitted a lustful glow. Grandpa, do you still think we should let it follow us? Long Ruashue said weakly. Long Qingtian didn't know what to say. He had underestimated how perverted this butterfly was. Lass, there's nothing we can do if it doesn't leave. Elder Chio said sympathetically. Perverted butterfly, why do you insist on following us? Long Ruoxue couldn't help asking. You are the champions of this academy competition, so of course I have to follow you, the butterfly explained. Just because of this? Long Ruoxue didn't believe that it really wanted to follow them just for this reason. Yes. Then follow Elder Chio. We're all together, and he's an elder of the academy. Long Ruoxue sold out Elder Chio without hesitation in order to escape from this perverted butterfly. Lass, Elder Chio looked at Long Ruoxue aggrievedly. Boo-hoo. How can you do this? I don't want to. I'm not interested in old men. Then you insist on following me? Long Ruoxue was so angry. There were so many people, but why was it sticking to her? Yes. Then what benefits will I get if I let you follow me? Long Ruoxue said while looking at the perverted butterfly schemingly. Since she couldn't get rid of it, she would feel very uncomfortable if she didn't fish for some benefits for herself. You will benefit greatly if you let me follow you, the butterfly said proudly, so smugly that she couldn't rebuke anymore. Tell me about it. If it satisfies me, I'll let you follow me around, Long Ruoxue enticed. You'll know when the time comes. I won't tell you now. The butterfly kept her guessing. Fine. If you don't satisfy me by then, you're dead meat, Long Ruoxue threatened. Don't worry. You will definitely be satisfied. The butterfly's face was like that of a charlatan. Elder Chio, I had an agreement with the principal. These are the 7 spots to enter the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm. Keep them safe. Long Ruoxue handed 7 flower petals to Elder Chio. Okay. All right. Lass, let's stay for another day tomorrow and go back the day after tomorrow, Elder Chio said as he took the exquisite flower petals. All right. Elder Chio, this should be Tsong Mints. I'll give it to you now. Long Ruoxue took out another petal. Although Elder Chio was Grandpa Lin's trusted aide, she knew very well that he might not necessarily have the chance to obtain a spot to enter the mystic realm. After all, there were too many complications in the academy. Last thanks. Elder Chio was touched as he took the petal and put it away. Okay, I'm going to sleep. You can all go now. Long Ruoxue couldn't stand the grateful look in Elder Chio's eyes, so she quickly turned around to leave the reception room. Schwer, wait for me. Freak chased after Schwer. Old Chio, I'm also going to sleep. Long Qingtian patted Elder Chio on the shoulder. Old Long, Elder Chio didn't know what to say. Don't cry. Long Qingtian looked at Elder Chio's slightly moist eyes and hurriedly left. You all? Seeing everyone leave the reception room, Elder Chio couldn't help feeling slightly helpless. Alas, I owe that lass even more now. Schwer. Freak chased up to Long Ruoxue's room. Freak, aren't you going to sleep? Long Ruoxue asked as she was about to enter the room. Schwer, we haven't been together for a long time, Freak said aggrievedly. Rubbish. Isn't this guy a little too exaggerated? We meet every day. Yes. Schwer, chat with me for a while before sleeping. Freak pleaded, his expression resembling an abandoned puppy. Pretending to be pitiful. So evil. The shiny butterfly following Long Ruoxue became disgruntled before she could say anything. Long Ruoxue couldn't help laughing. Looks like Freak has met his match. Damn butterfly, scram to the side. Freak roared. Schwer, this damn butterfly bullied me. Freak immediately looked at Long Ruoxue, pitifully after roaring at the butterfly. All right, stop arguing. Come in. I'll chat with you for a while, Long Ruoxue said helplessly. Freak loves pretending to be pitiful in front of me. Okay. Freak glared at the butterfly triumphantly and then followed Long Ruoxue into the room. Chapter 129. The Lecherous Envoy of the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm. 4. Girl, sleep with me, said the butterfly, unwilling to be left out, as it flew to Long Ruoxue. Get lost. Yichin furiously slapped away the butterfly, who wanted to take advantage. I haven't even enjoyed the benefit yet, so how can I let this stinky butterfly get it so easily? After being slapped against the wall, the butterfly flew back, stopped in front of Long Ruoxue, and persuaded her. Girl, this man is too barbaric. Change him. Stop arguing. Get out if you continue. Long Ruoxue said unpleasantly. These two fellows are really... We're not arguing. the two said in unison. Extremely well-behaved. Whoever's making a fuss, get out. Okay. The two nodded nonstop. By the way, Butterfly, let me ask you something. Can the ownership of the spots into the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm be transferred? Lung Ruashua asked curiously. Of course not. But ownerless spots can be transferred, so you have to protect the ones in your hands. Someone might snatch them away. The butterfly reminded. Got it. Lung Ruashua nodded. She would distribute the spots in her hands tomorrow to avoid others from having designs about them. Schwer, how do you intend to distribute the 10 spots in your hands? Freak asked curiously. Of course, they are for our own people, Grandpa, Big Brother, Lu Tao, Chuizhu, and the others, Lung Ruashua said after some thought. In addition to her family, they were her subordinates. Freak, do you have anyone you want to give one to? Lung Ruashua asked. I don't. Freak said indifferently. The Yi family will probably come to look for you, Lung Ruashua guessed. No one knew that she had spots for the mystic realm yet, but she wouldn't be able to hide it for long. She believed that they would definitely come to look for Freak after they knew. It's useless even if they look for me. I don't have any means I don't have any. Freak said nonchalantly. He didn't treat the Yi family as family. The two of them chatted for a while. Seeing that it was getting late, Lung Ruashua chased the reluctant Freak out. The next morning, Lung Ruashua just woke up when someone knocked on her door. Why are you here so early? Lung Ruashua asked when she opened the door and saw Freak standing outside. Schwer, we're going back tomorrow. Let's take a walk on the streets. Freak looked at Lung Ruashua expectantly. Okay, I want to go on the streets, the butterfly said from beside Lung Ruashua. We're not bringing you. He only wanted to go with Schwer and didn't want a third wheel. Tisich, that's not up to you. The butterfly provoked. Wait for me, Lung Ruashua said while ignoring the sparks flying between the two. After freshening up simply, Lung Ruashua and Freak informed her grandfather and then left the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion. Freak, it's almost time. Let's go back. Lung Ruashua was a little tired after walking for nearly half a day. Okay. He didn't have any specific destination in mind. He just wanted to spend some time alone with Schwer, but there was the third wheel. The two of them returned to the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion, ate in the restaurant downstairs, and then went upstairs. Miss, the president of the Beast Trainer Association is here, said Lin Yuan, who had been guarding Long Ruaksha's room after seeing her return. The president of the Beast Trainer Association? Why is he here? Did he come for Rise and Dazzle? I don't know. But the great general and Elder Chio are with him. We'll go take a look. No matter what his purpose was, she wasn't afraid of anything that might happen. I'll go with you, Freak said quickly. Okay. They walked to the reception room together. Grandpa, we're back, Lung Ruashua said directly after entering the reception room. Her gaze turned to the old man sitting next to her grandfather. The old man was about 60 years old, slightly chubby, and looked very amiable. He was wearing a long blue-gray robe and sitting leisurely beside her grandfather. After seeing Lung Ruashua, he looked at her thoughtfully. Schwer, this is Master Sui, the president of the Lunar Capital's Beast Trainer Association, Lung Qingtian said while shooting glances at his granddaughter. Hello, Master Sui. Lung Ruashua said politely. Miss Long is now the most popular genius on the Lingfeng continent. You do live up to your reputation. General, I'm so envious of you. Master Sui looked at Lung Ruashua with appreciation and then turned to Lung Qingtian. Master Sui flatters us. Lung Qingtian was very pleased with himself. Is Master Sui here for me? Lung Ruashua asked directly while looking at him. Yes, I came specially to look for Miss Long. May I know why Master Sui is looking for me? Lung Ruashua probed. I'm here to invite Miss Long to join the Beast Trainer Association. Master Sui, you must be mistaken. I'm not a beast trainer. Lung Ruashua said calmly. She didn't want outsiders to know that she was also a beast trainer. It doesn't matter. You've already obtained our association's treasures. As the president, I won't be able to explain myself to others if you don't join our association, Master Sui said with a smile, his eyes carrying a trace of scheming. Master Sui, I won those 2 spirit beasts from Princess Huangfuyu. They are the spoils of our competition. Moreover, if I remember correctly, Huang Fuyu is your disciple, right? Long Ruoxue asked lightly with a smirk. Yes, she is my disciple. But those two spirit beasts are from our association. Master Sui stressed. What does that have to do with me? Master Sui, you should look for Huang Fuyu. Besides, it's only right for a master to clean up the mess caused by their disciple, Long Ruoxue said bluntly without giving face. What she implied was that he shouldn't even think about scheming against her. This, Huang Fuyu has already turned into a fool, Master Sui said while suppressing his anger. In fact, before he came, he had thought of the many responses that Long Ruoxue could make, but he didn't expect her not to give him face. Chapter 130. Criminal? Are you referring to me? 1. Master Sui, Huang Fuyu becoming a fool isn't my fault, is it? Long Ruoxue said with a spurious smile. Could it be that Master Sui is also someone who can't differentiate right from wrong? As her master, you can't escape the blame now that Huang Fuyu became a fool, right? Long Ruoxue continued. Master Sui's forehead was full of cold sweat. He had been famous for many years and had always been respected. No one had ever dared to criticize him so directly, but he couldn't deny that what Long Ruoxue said was right. They had indeed spoiled Huang Fuyu. Master Sui, please forgive me for not being able to join the Beast Trainer Association. If you have any doubts about the ownership of the two spirit beasts, please look for the person responsible, Long Ruoxue said bluntly. Miss Long, please reconsider. Master Sui refused to give up. I have considered it thoroughly. I am not a beast trainer, so I am not qualified to join the Beast Trainer Association. Master Sui, you don't have to trouble yourself. Long Ruoxue directly made things clear. Sigh. All right then, I won't force you. However, Hu Bin from your academy should be able to join our Beast Trainer Association, right? Since Master Sui couldn't convince Long Ruoxue, he could only shift his target to Hu Bin. Master Sui, even though all Beast Trainer Associations are under the main Beast Trainer Association, Hu Bin is from the Eastern Lagoon Empire after all. It's really not appropriate for him to join the Beast Trainer Association of the Southern Dusk Empire, Long Ruoxue said after some thought. Whether or not Hu Bin wanted to join the Beast Trainer Association depended on Hu Bin himself. How could they decide for him? I can speak to the president of the Beast Trainer Association in the Eastern Lagoon Empire. All of this won't be a problem as long as Hu Bin is willing to join our association, Master Sui promised. Master Sui, we are really grateful that you are so enthusiastic. But it is really inconvenient for Hu Bin to join the Beast Trainer Association of the Southern Dusk Empire, so we can only appreciate your good intentions. Long Ruoxue was a little impatient. Why is this old man being so difficult? Can't he understand the tactful refusal? Miss Long, I think it's better to ask Hu Bin for his opinion on this matter. What if he agrees? What he implied was that she was just an outsider, so how could she decide for him? All right, Freak, please invite Hu Bin over. Okay, wait a moment. Freak turned and left the reception room. Before long, Freak returned, followed by a young boy. Hu Bin, this is Master Sui, the president of the Southern Dusk Empire's Beast Trainer Association. Long Ruoxue gave a simple introduction. Hello, Master Sui. Hu Bin bowed. Master Sui was a grandmaster in the Beast Trainer world, and he had heard a lot about him. You don't have to be so polite. Hu Bin, I'm very satisfied with your talent in beast training. I want to invite you to join our association and take you in as my disciple. What do you think? Master Sui said to Hu Bin amiably and threw out a big bait. He believed that no beast trainer could refuse his offer. Hu Bin's delicate face was full of astonishment. Master Sui had a very high status in the beast trainer world. To an ordinary beast trainer, becoming Master Sui disciple was absolutely a cause for celebration. If he had such an opportunity in the past, he would have definitely been so happy that he wouldn't be able to sleep. But he wasn't happy at all now, or perhaps it could be said that he was very calm. I'm sorry, Master Sui. I'm very grateful for your kind intentions, but I can't join the Beast Trainer Association of the Southern Dusk Country. Moreover, I don't intend to join any Beast Trainer Association, Hu Bin said with certainty. He wanted to follow Long Ruoxue forever, so there was no way he could join any association. Furthermore, he didn't think that he would be able to learn more by joining an association than following his young lady. Hu Bin, do you know what you're saying? As a beast trainer, no one will recognize your status if you don't join the Beast Trainer Association. Master Sui was no longer calm. The conditions he offered were so good, and countless people dreamed of it. He never thought that Hu Bin would actually refuse. Master Sui, I've thought it through. Thank you for your kind intentions. With that, Hu Bin directly left the reception room. Elder Chiu, are you going to let the students of your academy joke about their future? Master Sui turned his head and said angrily to Elder Chiu, Master Sui, these students aren't children anymore. They want joke about their future. Moreover, our academy can't force students to do things they don't want to do, right? Elder Chiu said somewhat helplessly. Furthermore, I think you should have heard that our academy's Lu Yin also declined the invitation of the Alchemist Association a few days ago. Alas, these children, their wings have hardened, and they are no longer restrained by our academy, Elder Chiu continued. The expression on his face was very helpless, but he was thinking about how much better it was to follow that girl than to join any association. If he wasn't an elder of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy now, he also wanted to follow that girl. Sigh. If that's the case, I won't force you. Goodbye, Master Sui said in defeat. Today was probably his most humiliating day since he became famous. He hadn't achieved a single thing he wanted to do. Lass, you've completely offended old man Sui this time. Elder Chiu couldn't help reminding after seeing Master Sui off. So what? It's impossible for me to join the Beast Trainer Association. He should think of ways to solve the problems caused by his own disciple, Lung Ruoxue said without much sympathy. In fact, she knew very well that there would definitely be trouble when Huang Fuyu took the two spirit beasts from the Beast Trainer Association. That was why she asked Huang Fuyu to write the contract when she was competing with her. Moreover, those were internal affairs between Huang Fuyu and the Beast Trainer Association. She didn't want to participate, nor did she want to be used by others. Old Xiu, Shuer will take care of it. Don't worry. Lung Qingtian spoke up for his granddaughter. All right then, but you have to tell me if there's really any trouble. I'm a spiritual supremacy now after all, Elder Chiu said very loyally. Chapter 131. Criminal? Are you referring to me? 2. Relax, I won't forget you. How can I not use the labor that comes knocking on my door? Elder Chiu, should we leave at night or tomorrow morning? Lung Ruoxue wanted to set the time so that she could make other arrangements. Let's go tomorrow morning. Elder Chiu said after some thought. Then let's have a good meal tonight. Tomorrow, it'll get cool to take us back to Phoenix City, Lung Ruoxue said generously. Now, she just wanted to go home quickly and then prepare to cultivate properly. Hee, isn't that too much trouble? How can I accept this? Elder Chiu said with a smile, his expression not the slightest bit embarrassed. Since you're embarrassed, treat us tonight. Lung Ruoxue glanced at Elder Chiu lightly. Then she gave Freak a look and left the reception room. Don't. I'm joking. Elder Chiu chased after them. How could he have the money? Boo-hoo. Isn't this killing me? In the evening, more than 30 people from the Heavenly Phoenix Academy gathered in the reception room. They chose this place to have dinner mainly because it was big enough and no one would come to disturb them. Wow. Miss, there's so much food tonight. Miss, I really love you to death. Fengde was beside himself with joy. He hadn't eaten such sumptuous food in a long time. What did you say? A cold voice sounded behind Fengde, startling him into breaking out in cold sweat. In nothing. Hee, Deputy Leader Yi. You heard wrongly. I didn't say anything at all. Fengde waved his hand in denial. Boo-hoo. I was too excited and forgot about Deputy Leader Yi's jealousy. I heard it. He said he loves the girl to death. A shiny purple butterfly said very honestly as it flew over. You heard it wrong, you damn butterfly. Fengde felt hatred in his heart. Why does this fellow like adding oil to the fire so much? I didn't hear it wrong. He really said it, the butterfly emphasized. Freak, what are you doing? Come and help quickly, Lung Ruoxue said unhappily. Everyone else was helping, but they still had the time to chat. Coming, Shuer. Coming, miss. I'm coming too, girl. The butterfly mimicked them both. What are you doing here? I didn't call you. Go play somewhere else, Long Ruashue said disdainfully to the butterfly that flew to her side. This little fellow had only followed her for less than a day, but it had given her a lot of trouble. Girl, how can you dislike me? The butterfly said sadly, tears welling up in its small black eyes, looking extremely aggrieved. Because you only know how to cause trouble, Long Ruashue said bluntly. She really didn't know where this butterfly had learned its bad habits. Take today as an example. When she strolled the streets with Freak, the butterfly insisted on following. But whenever it saw a woman with a bit of beauty, it would tease her, and it had even lifted the skirts of several women. Moreover, it even complained that some of their figures weren't good. She really wanted to strangle it at the time. I'm telling the truth. It was an honest butterfly. Was it wrong to tell the truth? You are a sprite. What does a woman's beauty and good figure have anything to do with you? Long Ruashue asked. When she had time, she had to teach this lecherous butterfly what it could and couldn't say. But women are meant to be looked at by men. The butterfly didn't think that it was wrong to be picky about women. That was what the elders at the Lunar Shadow Academy had told it. Which bastard taught you this? Who said that women are meant to be looked at by men? I say that men are meant to be looked at by women. Long Ruashue was angry. This is too disrespectful to women. Besides, are you a man? Long Ruashue asked. My mentality is that of a man, the butterfly stressed. Although it didn't have a gender yet, it would have one when it grew up, and it had already decided to be male. So, behave yourself now, or else I won't let you follow me. Long Ruashue gave an ultimatum to this unrepentant butterfly. Oh. The butterfly nodded reluctantly. This is so unfair. It's not my fault for having such high standards. Boo-hoo. I just have good taste. Schwer, everything is ready. We can eat now. Feng Moran walked over. Okay. Elder Chio, do you have anything you want to say to everyone? Long Ruashue asked when she saw that everyone was seated. In addition to the 30-odd students, everyone had also released their spirit beasts, so the entire reception room was basically full. Then let me say a few words. It's all thanks to everyone's efforts that our academy was able to achieve such good results in this year's academy competition. I thank everyone on behalf of the academy. Let me toast everyone. Elder Chio said very emotionally, then raised his wine cup and drained it in one gulp. Great, Elder Chio. Another cup. Someone hooted. Okay. Elder Chio finished another cup. His round cheeks were already red after 2 cups. Okay, stop getting Elder Chio to drink. Long Ruashue knew that Elder Chio couldn't hold his liquid well and quickly stopped everyone. We're leaving tomorrow. Everyone, drink less, Feng Moran said. It had been a long time since they gathered like this, so they were a little too excited. Don't worry, Deputy Leader Feng. Everyone knows, Feng said quickly. Everyone chatted and ate. The meal finally came to an end very late at night. Moreover, some students were drunk and even fell asleep on the floor of the reception room. Don't we need to care about them? Long Ruashue asked worriedly while looking at the people lying on the floor. Don't worry about it. They're all men. What does it matter if they sleep on the floor for a night? Freak had no sympathy. Then let's go to bed. It's late, Long Ruashue said after some thought. Her grandfather and the others had already returned to their rooms to rest. Okay. The next morning, Long Ruashue came to the reception room and saw that everyone who was drunk the previous night had woken up. Moreover, they looked to be in good spirits. It seemed like the constitution of spiritualists was indeed different. Chapter 132. Criminal? Are you referring to me? 3. Pack up and get ready to set off, Long Ruashue reminded. Miss, we packed up yesterday morning, Lin Yuan said. They wouldn't have dared to get drunk last night otherwise. Then go and settle the bill. Ask everyone to gather downstairs, Long Ruashue ordered. She took out an amethyst card and handed it to Lin Yuan. Okay. After leaving the reception room, Long Ruashue went straight to her grandfather's room. Grandpa, are you ready? We're leaving, Long Ruashue said after knocking on the door. Ready. Long Qingtian opened the door. Then Long Ruashue called her brother and Freak. They met Feng Moran in the corridor and went downstairs together. After arriving downstairs, Long Ruoxue and the group from the Heavenly Phoenix Academy were surrounded by officers and soldiers. What's the meaning of this? Long Ruoxue pushed aside the crowd. The cold light in her eyes was intimidating, and killing intent flashed past. By the decree of noble consort Su, we are here to arrest the criminal who harmed the princess, an officer who looked like the leader said very formally. Criminal? Are you referring to me? Long Ruoxue said indifferently with a light smile. No wonder noble consort Su hadn't done anything the past few days. So she was waiting for the academy competition to end. The person we're going to arrest is Long Ruoxue, the officer said calmly. He knew that Long Ruoxue wasn't to be trifled with, but he dared to go to the Elegance Lagoon Pavilion to capture her because of noble consort Zu's support. Does the Emperor of the Southern Dusk Empire know that you're here to arrest me? Long Ruoxue asked. The imperial decree of the noble consort is of course His Majesty's will, the officer said while forcing himself to be calm, but his words weren't confident. Is that so? I really didn't know that this is the way the Southern Dusk Empire treats guests. Everyone here has their own opinions about what happened that day. Think of a better reason if you want to arrest me. What Long Ruoxue implied was that it was impossible to make her stay with such a reason. Grandpa, Elder Chiu, let's go, Long Ruoxue said, ignoring the soldiers surrounding them. It was really unbecoming of her status to bicker with such a small fry. Okay. No one cared about such a small character. None of you are allowed to leave. Arrest all of them, the officer hurriedly ordered when he saw that he couldn't keep them any longer. Noble consort Su wouldn't let him go if this matter went wrong. Long Ruoxue impatiently raised her white hand, and a huge stream of fire attribute spiritual power flew toward the officers and soldiers. Immediately, they were all sent flying several meters away, and their bodies were burning with purplish-red flames. Aha! Aha! They screamed in pain as they rolled on the ground. Miss Long, we're so sorry for startling you. Wang Fulian apologized as he walked to Long Ruoxue. What? Your Highness the Crown Prince is also here to capture me? Long Ruoxue said mockingly. Of course not. I'm here on Imperial Father's orders to see Miss Long off, Wang Fulian quickly said. Alas. Imperial Mother was right. Miss Long is really angry. Your Southern Dusk Imperial family is really interesting. The Imperial Consort wants to arrest me, but the Emperor wants to send me off. Who is the decision-maker in the end? Long Ruoxue asked with curiosity and puzzlement on her face, seemingly wanting to know more. Of course it's my Imperial Father. Cold sweat rolled down Huang Fulian's forehead. His Imperial Father would be so angry if he heard this. Oh, that's good. Then can we go now? Long Ruoxue asked. Of course you can. They'll send you off, Huang Fulian said with a gentle smile on his face. Grandpa, we can go now. With the Crown Prince protecting us, we don't have to be afraid. I don't think anyone will dare to stop us, Long Ruoxue said to Long Qingtian with an innocent expression. That's good. Grandpa is getting old, and I really can't take being scared, Long Qingtian said very cooperatively while pretending to touch his heart. Everyone was flabbergasted upon hearing this. Please, you are a spiritual supremacy. I've never heard of a spiritual supremacy being scared. Grandpa, don't be scared. The Crown Prince will protect us, Long Ruoxue comforted. Yes. Swear, let's go quickly. Otherwise, who knows what might come and stop us later, Long Qingtian said fearfully, as though he couldn't wait to leave right away. Then let's go. Freak stepped forward and held Long Qingshan's arm. Wait for me. Just as everyone was about to leave, they heard someone shouting in the distance. There really was something else. Hearing this voice, everyone couldn't help but worry in their hearts. Even General Long was about to become a diviner. A flying spirit beast landed beside them, and Hua Qing jumped off. Wait for me. I'll go with you, Hua Qing said while panting slightly. Why are you following us? We don't welcome you, Freak roared while cursing Hua Qing in his heart. This person is too annoying. Hua Qing ignored Yi Qin's unfriendly demeanor and said with a faint smile, I will also be a student of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy in the future. Of course I have to go with you. What? Freak was angry. He couldn't stay calm anymore. Why does this guy keep haunting us? He was so angry. I've decided to transfer to the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. Elder Chio, may I? Hua Qing directly asked Elder Chio, ignoring a certain person's anger. Erm, you have to ask the principal. I'm only an elder, so it's not up to me. Besides, will the Rising Dragon Academy agree to it? Elder Chio said spinelessly under Yi Chin's threatening glare. Boo-hoo. I'm just an elder. Why make things difficult for me? Ruoxue, you will welcome me, right? Hua Qing set his sights on Long Ruoxue. He wanted to transfer schools because of her. No, Long Ruoxue said lightly. Why? Hua Qing was a little confused. Am I that unpopular? Moreover, Yi Chin's smug expression made him uncomfortable. Chapter 133. Criminal? Are you referring to me? 4. You're too troublesome. Long Ruoxue said while looking at the sky. Another flying spirit beast descended. Big Brother Qing, wait for me. Shui Xinran immediately stuck to Hua Qing's side as soon as she got off the spirit beast. Why did you follow me? Hua Qing said with some displeasure. Shui Xinran looked at Hua Qing aggrievedly, tears welling up in her eyes. Let's go. Long Ruoxue said to everyone. She really wasn't interested in such a drama. Everyone soon left the lunar capital. Your Highness, please return. Long Ruoxue said very courteously to Huang Fulian at the city gate, and then she let Quill out. Okay, then I'm going back. Huang Fulian held in his amazement as he looked at the enormous flying spirit beast. Seeing that everyone was already sitting on Quill's back, Long Ruoxue sat on him as well. Quill, let's go. Yes, master. Quill slowly flew up and disappeared into the sky with a strong gust of wind. Huang Fulian stood foolishly outside the city gate for a while until he could no longer see the shadow of the spirit beast. Then he turned around and walked back. Crown Prince, where are the people from the Heavenly Phoenix Academy? Hua Qing stopped Huang Fulian at the city gate. Already gone. How long ago? There's no need to chase. You can't catch up, Huang Fulian said kindly. But before he could finish speaking, he saw Hua Qing release his spirit beast and fly away. In the imperial study of the Imperial Palace of the Southern Dusk Empire. Your Majesty, I just wanted to avenge your noble consort Su knelt in front of the Emperor's desk, weeping uncontrollably. Her appearance was truly endearing. I told you that we have to consider this matter at length. Have you forgotten? Huang Fujian said furiously. But they're leaving today. I was anxious, so please don't take issue with me on the account that I love our daughter so much, Your Majesty. Noble consort Su pleaded, but in her heart, she was cursing the Emperor to death. What a useless man. He doesn't even dare to provoke Long Ruoxue, and has concerns about this and that. I hate him so much. You want to stop them from leaving? Do you want to offend the Heavenly Phoenix Academy and the Artificer Association? Huang Fujian roared. The Artificer Association had already informed all the top factions that Long Ruoxue was an important guest of their Artificer Association. I know my mistake. Confine noble consort Su to the Soaring Phoenix Hall. No one is allowed to see her without my consent. Huang Fujian ordered the eunuch beside him. Yes, Your Majesty. After the eunuch brought noble consort Su away, the Emperor was the only one left in the imperial study. Empress, you can come out now. Your Majesty, are we just going to let this matter rest? The Empress asked in puzzlement as she emerged from the secret room. What else can we do? The Su family is ambitious, and now is not the time to do anything to her. Huang Fujian shook his head, looking helpless. Empress, do you think Long Ruoxue will? Huang Fujian was worried. Probably not. I've already sent Lianer. Hopefully, nothing big happens. The Empress was also very worried. Empress, there won't be any big trouble. That girl Long Ruoxue will never suffer a loss. I'm just worried that she might think that it was my idea. Huang Fujian was a little uncertain. That girl was too smart. Your Majesty, I've said it before. We can only be on good terms with Long Ruoxue. The people of the Long family don't like to be used by others, so if we want to cooperate with her, we have to show our sincerity, the Empress said with certainty. You're right, Empress. Your Majesties the Emperor and Empress, His Highness the Crown Prince has returned to the palace, a eunuch reported. Imperial Father, Imperial Mother, embark. Huang Fu Lian walked into the imperial study and bowed. Lianer, there wasn't any big trouble, right? The Empress hurriedly asked, her expression exceptionally nervous. I guess not. Huang Fu Lian didn't know how to explain it to his parents. He couldn't say that Lung Ruoxue was already a little unhappy. But Imperial Father, the young master of the Hua family, Hua Qing, plans to study at the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, Huang Fu Lian said after some thought. Hua Qing wants to go to the Heavenly Phoenix Academy? Huang Fuzhen was in disbelief. The relationship between the Hua family and the Rising Dragon Academy was extraordinary, yet Hua Qing wanted to study at the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. Would the Hua family and the Rising Dragon Academy agree? Yes. Moreover, Hua Qing has already chased after the people from the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, Huang Fu Lian added. Empress, what do you think? Huang Fuzhen turned to the Empress beside him. Your Majesty, in my opinion, Hua Qing is most likely targeting Lung Ruoxue, the Empress said cautiously with a slight frown. She had heard that the Hua family proposed marriage to Lung Ruoxue, but she rejected them. Could it be true? Thinking of this, she was a little hesitant. Your Majesty, should we let our son study at the Heavenly Phoenix Academy as well? The Empress suggested. Huang Fuzhen hesitated. If Lianer went to the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, the Lunar Shadow Academy would definitely be displeased, and he didn't want to fall out with the Academy yet. Your Majesty, with the Hua family around, we can't count on the Lunar Shadow Academy at all. Instead, we might as well put all our efforts on Lung Ruoxue, the Empress said understandingly. She knew the concerns in the Emperor's heart, but she believed that Lung Ruoxue was their best choice. All right, let's do as you say, Empress. Huang Fuzhen trusted the Empress very much. He knew that only the Empress cared for him wholeheartedly in this world. Lianer, prepare to go to the Heavenly Phoenix Academy as well. Huang Fuzhen showed the demeanor of an emperor and was full of boldness. There was no need to hesitate since he had already decided. Yes, Imperial Father. At an altitude of 10,000 meters in the sky, Lung Ruoxue and the others had been flying for nearly 2 days. Schwerer, are you tired? Freak took the initiative to pull Schwerer into his arms and let her lie against him while taking some advantage of her. I'm not tired. It's Quill that's tired. Lung Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of heartache and concern. Quill had been flying for 2 days and refused to rest. Fortunately, they were almost at Phoenix City. Chapter 134. Uninvited Guests. 1. Master, I'm not tired. Quill was in a good mood and said honestly upon hearing his master's concern. He was a flying beast, and flying was his instinct, so how could he be tired? Moreover, he had his master's pills, so flying was very easy. Master, divine beasts aren't so weak. You don't have to worry too much. Charm, lying in Lung Ruoxue's arms, comforted. He knew that his master cherished them beasts, and they also cherished her. Quill knew that his master wanted to go back early, so he didn't want to stop. Lung Ruoxue gently caressed Charm's soft and smooth fur and relaxed her heart. She knew that her beasts were all very strong, but no matter how strong they were still her beasts. Moreover, in her heart, her beasts were as important as her family. Master, we've entered the borders of the Eastern Lagoon Empire, Quill said as he looked down. Quill, thanks for your hard work. Master, it's okay. We'll be home in a few hours. Then Quill accelerated and flew at full speed. Elder Chio, are there any arrangements by the Academy after we return? Lung Ruoxue's beautiful eyes glanced at the excited Elder Chio. I really don't know why this old man is so excited. I have to go back and ask the principal. I don't know either. Elder Chio scratched his head, slightly embarrassed. Oh, I thought the principal already made plans. Elder Chio, Hua Qing wants to come to the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. What do you think about this matter? Lung Ruoxue asked again. That Hua Qing is really troublesome. I think he's here for you. As soon as Elder Chio finished speaking, he immediately felt a cold glare shooting at him, and he couldn't help but shrink his neck. Boo-hoo. I'm telling the truth. Why are you scaring me like this? Elder Chiu felt aggrieved. I am a spiritual supremacy. How can I actually be afraid of my own student? Boo-hoo. Well, you're right. He's treating me as a sparring partner. Long Ruoxue was depressed thinking of it. Was I asking for it? Swear, what should we do then? Freak's eyes burned with jealousy, and he wanted to extinguish the fire in them right away. Freak, I will focus on cultivating after I go back. I shouldn't be going to the academy anymore, Long Ruoxue said comfortingly after thinking. Oh, then I have to focus on cultivating too, Freak quickly said. But he was still very happy when he heard Schwer say that she wouldn't go to the academy. Huaqing can keep his wishful thinking to himself. Lass, how can you not go to the academy? Our academy can't live without you. Elder Chiu couldn't help feeling a little anxious when he heard Long Ruoxue say that she wouldn't go to the academy anymore. Elder Chiu, my main purpose for going to the academy was to compete in the academy competition. Now that I've completed my task, there's naturally no need for me to go to the academy. Moreover, do you think there's anything the academy can teach me? Long Ruoxue raised her beautiful eyes slightly and glanced at Elder Chiu lightly. Lass, you'd better tell the principal yourself. Elder Chiu was helpless. Hopefully, the principal can persuade her to stay. Okay, I'll tell Grandpa Lin. Master, we're at Phoenix City, Quill reminded after flying for a few more hours. Quill, find a place to let them down, Long Ruoxue ordered. Everyone was tired, so they should go home and have a good rest. Yes, Master. Quill found a wide and flat place to land. Miss? Lu Yin and the others were bewildered. Go home and have a good rest. 3 days later, come to the general's mansion to look for me. I have other arrangements, Long Ruoxue explained while looking at the rich expressions on everyone's faces. She couldn't help finding it funny. Do these people think that they've been abandoned? Yes, Mississippi. Lu Yin and the others were overjoyed. They thought that their young lady didn't want them anymore. Quill, let's go home, Long Ruoxue said with her pink lips after watching Lu Yin, Elder Chiu, and the others leave. A moment later, Quill descended in the garden of the general's mansion. Old Master, Miss, and Young Master are back. A servant shouted excitedly when he saw them. Old Master, Miss, Young Master. The steward hurriedly ran out of his room after hearing the shout. Steward, what is this? Long Qingtian asked in puzzlement. We've only been away for a month. Is there a need to be so excited? He had often been away for months, but they hadn't been so enthusiastic when he returned. Hee, Old Master, Miss is in the limelight this time. Now, there are many more people visiting our general's mansion, the butler said excitedly, as if he was the one in the limelight. The people of Phoenix City found out so quickly? The news spread really quickly. It had only been around 4 days. We've known about it for a few days. Oh right, Master. The Emperor also sent people to say that he wants to hold a banquet for Miss and the others to celebrate. The butler began to report one by one. Grandpa, let's go back to our rooms to have a good night's sleep. Let's talk after we wake up, Long Ruoxue reminded while glancing at the steward, who was in a hurry to report. They hadn't had a good rest for the past 3 days. Schwer is right. Everyone, go back to your rooms and rest. Long Qingtian waved his hand, displaying his prestige as a general. After hearing what Long Qingtian said, everyone returned to their rooms. Even Freak was very obedient and didn't pester Schwer to chat with him. Steward, let's go to my study, Long Qingtian said to the stunned steward. Old Master, you should go back to your room to rest first. These are trivial matters. There's no hurry, the steward said awkwardly. Long Qingtian glared at the steward imperiously. No hurry? No hurry, and yet you reported in the garden? Then he turned and walked to his room. After Long Ruoxue and the others had a good night's sleep, it was already afternoon the next day when she woke up. Long Ruoxue got up, washed up, and left her room. Grandpa. Long Ruoxue walked into the study. Only her grandfather and the steward were here. Chapter 135. Uninvited Guests 2. Schwer, you're awake. Long Qingshan's mood immediately improved when he saw his precious granddaughter. Grandpa, why didn't you sleep a little more? Long Ruoxue said with displeasure. Grandpa just came back. Why didn't he rest well? Hee hee, Grandpa is used to it and can't stay idle, Lung Qingtian said with a fawning face. He didn't want his granddaughter to be angry with him. Grandpa, is there something important? Lung Ruoxue noticed that her grandfather didn't look too good. It's okay. Grandpa will take care of it. Lung Qingtian didn't want his granddaughter to worry about him. Grandpa, you have to tell me if anything happens, Lung Ruoxue reminded. She really wanted to share the burden with her grandfather, but he refused to tell her, and she couldn't force him. Hee hee, don't worry. Grandpa won't be polite with you if there's really something that I can't solve, Lung Qingtian promised. Okay, Grandpa. Shuer is hungry. Go eat with me. Lung Ruoxue hugged her grandfather's arm affectionately. All right. Lung Qingtian and his granddaughter entered the dining room, only to find that they were the last to arrive. You stinky brats aren't as caring as my precious granddaughter. Lung Qingtian put on a stern face and pretended to be displeased. Grandpa, that's because we all know that Shuer would look for you. Lung Ruhan hurriedly stood up and walked to Long Qingshan's side to curry favor. Yes, Grandpa. Aren't we all waiting for you? How can we dare to eat if you don't come? Freak came over as well, his beautiful face full of flattery. Hee hee, you stinky brats, I'm just teasing you. You must be hungry, right? Hurry up and eat. Then the two of them sat down in their respective seats. By the way, what do you think of the banquet in the Imperial Palace? Lung Qingtian asked his granddaughter and the others after breakfast. I don't want to go. Lung Ruoxue was the first to express her opinion. The Imperial Palace was too dark, and she didn't know what the Emperor was thinking, so it was better not to have anything to do with him. They'll listen to Shuer. Freak followed Shuer in everything. He was the 24-hour-day exemplary obedient fiancé. Grandpa, I don't want to go either. Lung Ruhan's handsome face looked thoughtful. What about you? Lung Qingtian turned to Fengde and the others. Since Miss isn't going, we aren't going either, Fengde said without hesitation. The palace wasn't his cup of tea. No, they can choose not to go, but the few of you must, Lung Qingtian said domineeringly. Wouldn't they be disrespecting the emperor if they didn't go? He was still the empire's general after all. Why? Fengde said gloomily with a long face. Because if you don't go, no one will, Lung Qingtian said matter-of-factly. So they were just going to make up the numbers. General, socializing isn't my forte. Really, don't make me go. I might embarrass you. Are elderly, Fengde said pitifully, almost crying. Elderly? Am I that old? Lung Qingtian glared at Fengde. No, you're not old at all. See, I'm not good at talking, so don't make me go. Seeing that the volcano was about to erupt, Fengde hurriedly put out the fire and gave a suggestion. You must go. General Long made the final decision, leaving no room for resistance. Mississippi. Fengde looked at Lung Ruoxue with a bitter face. Be good and eat more for us. Lung Ruoxue patted Fengde's head and comforted him like she was comforting a puppy with a bright smile on her face. Freak, accompany me to the academy. Lung Ruoxue turned to Freak. She should go and see Grandpa Lin. Okay. It was already evening when they arrived at the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. They entered the academy and went straight to the principal's office. Grandpa Lin. Lung Ruoxue knocked on the door. Ruoxue, why are you here so late? Lin Liang was surprised to see Lung Ruoxue and Yichun. I have something to tell Grandpa Lin. Lung Ruoxue went straight to the point. Oh, do you want to talk about not attending the academy? Elder Chiu had already reported to him after returning. Yes, we finished our task. Our focus will be on cultivating from now on, so we shouldn't be going to the academy anymore, Lung Ruoxue said very tactfully. Yes, you should cultivate diligently. Lin Liang approved of this point. Moreover, he also knew that it was unlikely that this girl would be restrained by the academy. By the way, Ruoxue, Huaqing. Lin Liang looked awkward and hesitant to speak. Grandpa Lin. I know that he wants to transfer to the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. He's not the only one. There are others. Lin Liang was very helpless. Who else? Lung Ruoxue was puzzled. There's also Southern Dusk's Crown Prince Huang Fulian, Shui Xinran, Northern Frost's Princess Ximenya, and Yishao. All of them want to transfer here, Lin Liang said with a slight headache. If the two best geniuses of the Rising Dragon Academy transferred to their academy, that old fellow at the Rising Dragon Academy would definitely hate him to death. Lung Ruoxue and Freak exchanged glances and said in unison, Grandpa Lin will have a way. I have no choice. He had a headache over this for the past 2 days. Ruoxue, Huaqing and the others are here for you. You can't just leave them alone. Lin Liang looked expectantly at the cunning girl. Grandpa Lin, they didn't come for me. I'm not going to the academy anymore. Even if they came for me, there's nothing I can do. Lung Ruoxue made it clear that she was irresponsible and didn't want to care about this matter. Ruoxue, can you give Grandpa Lin a good idea? Lin Liang said expectantly. He really didn't want to take in those people. Taking them in would mean trouble, but not taking them in would. Grandpa Lin, as long as you can convince Huaqing, the others are nothing to fear, Lung Ruoxue reminded kindly. All right, I'll try. Lin Liang really had no other way. Oh, right. Grandpa Lin, did the Fu family and Vice Principal Qin do anything in the past month? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. Chapter 136. Uninvited Guests 3. Chun Jian has been much more well-behaved recently. As for the Fu family, I heard they were robbed. Moreover, Fu Mingyuan has been looking for the whereabouts of Fu Mingzhu and the others, Lin Liang said after some thought. No one looked for trouble with Vice Principal Chun? Lung Ruoxue found it unbelievable. It seems he has a powerful background. A little at first, but they were all small families and didn't have much power. They became well-behaved after making a fuss once or twice, Lin Liang explained, knowing what Lung Ruoxue wanted to ask. Oh, Grandpa Lin, it's getting late. We're going to get going. Lung Ruoxue and Freak stood up and prepared to leave. All right. After leaving the principal's office, Lung Ruoxue and Freak walked along a quiet path toward the entrance of the academy. I want to talk to you, Sunair said softly as she suddenly appeared in front of them. There's nothing much to talk about between us. Lung Ruoxue refused without hesitation, not even bothering to look at the pretentious Sunair. I'm begging you. I really have something very important to discuss with you. Sunair was so anxious that she was about to cry. Tears flashed in her eyes, and her pitiful appearance was really pitiful. Unfortunately, the two people in front of her were both hard-hearted. Get lost? Freak roared in displeasure. What does this woman want? Why is she so annoying like a fly? Senior Brother Yi, I really want to have a good talk with Ruoxue. I mean no harm, Sunair said aggrievedly as 2 streams of tears rolled down her cheeks. What do you want to talk about with me? Lung Ruoxue said impatiently, not wanting to see her continue acting. She actually wanted to know why Sunair suddenly showed weakness, but she caught the viciousness and jealousy that flashed by in Sunair's eyes. Ruoxue, I know that I did many things wrong in the past. Please forgive me and don't be angry with me anymore, Sunair pleaded with a sincere expression on her face. What else? Continue, Lung Ruoxue urged. I won't snatch Big Brother you away from you anymore. Really? I promise that he will only belong to you from now on. I want to peer again. Woo-woo, Sunair said while sobbing. Nair, I won't allow you to say that. Suddenly, a furious roar sounded in their ears. Lung Ruoxue, I will never marry you. Give up on this idea. The 7th prince appeared by Sunair's side like a white knight. He hugged Sunair and glared at Lung Ruoxue fiercely. 7th prince, did you take the wrong medicine? Did I say I want to marry you? Lung Ruoxue frowned, a little annoyed. What are these 2 good-for-nothings doing? She didn't have time to watch them put on this star-crossed lovebirds act in front of her. 7th prince, Schwerer is my fiancée. She has had nothing to do with you since a very long time ago. Stop flattering yourself, Freak said with displeasure, his eyes shooting out a sharp glare. Do you think you can still marry her now? The 7th prince looked at Yichun mockingly. What do you mean? Lung Ruoxue asked coldly. Miss Lung is now very popular, and ordinary people can't marry you, the 7th prince said a little unpleasantly. His words seemed to carry a tinge of jealousy, but even he didn't realize it. Big Brother you, don't talk about it anymore. I won't make things difficult for you, Sunair said very understandingly. However, she hated Li Yu for coming out at this time to disrupt her plan. She secretly glanced at Yi-chan. Nair, I said before that I won't marry anyone but you. You have to believe me, Liu promised with a solemn expression on his face. Big brother you. Don't be like this. Nair isn't blessed. You just have to treat Ruashua well in the future, Su Nair pleaded, but she kept shouting in her heart to agree. Agree now. As long as she could get rid of the seventh prince, she could shift her target to Yi-chan. She only wanted to marry this heavenly man now. Nair, I only want you. I don't want anyone else but you, Liu vowed solemnly. Take your time acting. We're leaving. Lung Ruashua couldn't stand watching any longer. She directly summoned Quill, jumped onto his back with Freak, and flew away. The two of them stared blankly at the black eagle that suddenly appeared and didn't come to their senses for a long time. By the time they reacted, Lung Ruashua and Yi-chan were long gone. Big brother you'd better listen to your father. Let's not be together anymore. Su Nair only felt that she had nowhere to vent her anger, so her tone was especially cold. After speaking, she left without looking back. Nair! Liu watched Su Nair leave and couldn't help thinking of Long Ruashua, who was as dazzling as a goddess. He felt mixed emotions and was even more lost. After returning to the general's mansion, Long Ruashua and Freak immediately went to the study. Grandpa, what do you think about this? Lung Ruashua asked Lung Qingtian after telling him what happened just now. Hee, Schwer, this was expected. It's not surprising. Lung Qingtian was very calm. Seems like the imperial family is eyeing Schwer again. Do they really think that Schwer is still the Schwer of the past? Seventh Prince Liu is no longer worthy of my precious granddaughter. Grandpa, Yi-chan looked at Long Qingtian aggrievedly, as though he wanted Long Qingtian to uphold justice for him. Yi-chan, don't worry. Grandpa will only acknowledge you as my grandson-in-law, Lung Qingtian promised. Grandpa, if I'm not mistaken, the Emperor will mention this to you tomorrow, Lung Ruashua asked. Schwer, even if the Emperor doesn't mention it, others will. Don't worry. Grandpa knows how to deal with it. Then he'll leave this matter to Grandpa. I won't care about it, Lung Ruashua said mischievously. Then what benefits will Grandpa get? Long Qingtian asked cunningly. He happened to have a request for Schwer. What benefits does Grandpa want? Lung Ruashua asked doubtfully. She knew something was bothering her grandfather. Is he finally willing to tell me? Chapter 137. Uninvited Guests. 4. Schwer, Grandpa just wants you to help me think of a solution. Lung Qingtian explained the matter and looked at Lung Ruashua expectantly. Grandpa, don't look at me like that. I'm going back to my room first. I'll tell you immediately when I think of something. Lung Ruashua turned and left. Freak naturally followed closely behind. The next night, Lung Ruashua, her brother, and Freak sat in a pavilion in the garden, enjoying a hot pot while chatting. Big brother, Grandpa and the others should be there already, right? Lung Ruashua asked casually. She had never been to the imperial palace of the Eastern Lagoon Empire, nor did she want to go. Yes, they should be there soon. Schwer, I'm sure many people will be very disappointed that you didn't go today, Lung Ruhan teased. He had also heard about what happened yesterday. Big brother, I just want to be happy. How can I have the time to care about irrelevant people? Lung Ruashua said nonchalantly. Schwer, I've cooked this for you. Eat it. Freak kept feeding Schwer. Miss, someone is looking for young Master Yi. The steward walked over to report. Who is it? Freak said with some displeasure. Who would look for me? They are young Master Yes parents, the steward said anxiously. The visitor claimed to be young Master Yes parents, so he had no choice but to disturb them. Parents? My mother died when she gave birth to me. How can I have a mother? Yi Chen's eyes were like ice, and his expression suddenly became very vicious. Steward, ask them to wait in the living room, Lung Ruashua ordered. Yes, Mississippi. The steward was frightened by Yi Chen's ferocity, and he immediately dashed away after hearing Lung Ruashua's instructions. Freak, what happened? Lung Ruashua asked in puzzlement. Even though he had been with them so long, Freak had never mentioned anything about his family, and she had never asked about it. In fact, she wouldn't have asked if not for the guests who suddenly came to visit. Every family had its difficulties, so she respected his privacy. Schwer, accompany me to take a look first. Send them away, and he'll tell you later, Freak said with a cold face. Okay. Long Ruoshue and Freak came to the living room together. When they entered the door, they saw a middle-aged couple sitting in chairs. Where's your young lady? Doesn't she know we're here? Why is she so rude? A good-looking middle-aged woman was being picky with displeasure. The steward standing beside her didn't even frown and directly ignored her words. Be quiet, the middle-aged man sitting beside her scolded. Husband, it's clear that they're neglecting us. Is this how the general's mansion treats guests? The middle-aged woman retorted, not taking the man's words seriously. Are you looking for me? Long Ruoshue and Yichun walked into the living room casually. When the two people sitting in the chairs saw Long Ruoshue, they were clearly stunned for a while before coming back to their senses. While they were lost in thought, Long Ruoshue carefully examined the two. The man was handsome, and Freak did look a little like him. But his temperament was much worse, and his figure was a little chubby. As for the woman, her skin was slightly yellowish. She was good-looking, but she looked like a mean and bitter person. You are Long Ruoshue? The middle-aged beauty said with a displeased face. Long Ruoshue sat down on the main seat and said flatly, Yes? Then do you know who we are? How dare you treat us so lightly? The middle-aged woman rebuked, her nose almost flying into the sky. I heard you are my fiancé's parents? Long Ruoshue asked with a faint smile. It's good that you know, but so what? Long Ruoshue said nonchalantly. Long Ruoshue, what do you mean? The middle-aged woman stood up from her chair angrily and glared at Long Ruoshue. Exactly what I said. Long Ruoshue's eyes turned cold. She was getting impatient. Husband, look at Long Ruoshue. What's with her attitude? We are her elders, yet she treats us like this. Husband, our ye family can't have someone like this as a daughter-in-law. The middle-aged woman wailed at the man beside her. Nonsense. Do you think it's up to us? His Majesty bestowed the marriage. We can't refuse even if she's not good. The middle-aged man sounded a little helpless, but the corner of his eyes couldn't help sneaking a glance at his son. The guilt in his heart disappeared in a flash. For the sake of the family, he could only let his son down. Alas, he had no choice. Long Ruoshue watched the two act with a faint smile, but she kept sneering in her heart. She didn't know why these two people suddenly came today, but she knew that nothing good would come of it. Then he'll go and beg His Majesty to cancel the engagement. Our ye family can't afford to have such a daughter-in-law. The middle-aged woman thought for a while, and seemingly suddenly made up her mind. In fact, this was the main reason why they came today. You want to break off the engagement? Long Ruoshue couldn't help interrupting. Yes, the Yi family can't afford to have a daughter-in-law who doesn't respect her elders like you. We have to cancel the engagement, the middle-aged woman said loudly. No matter what, the engagement had to be broken today, or she wouldn't be able to explain it to her elder sister. What if I refuse? Long Ruokshu's cold, beautiful eyes looked at the couple indifferently, and her tone was emotionless. I refuse as well, Yichun said with undisguised disgust on his face. What do these two think I am? They want to manipulate me? You don't have the right to refuse. Marriage matters must be left to your parents to decide. The middle-aged woman roared, her eyes full of contempt. Is that so? Yichun said indifferently, but his eyes were on his father. Chainer, listen to us on this matter. Long Ruoshue really isn't suitable for you. He'll find you a better one in the future, the middle-aged man coaxed, but he said these words without much confidence. Alas, I hope Chainer listens to me. I didn't expect Long Ruoshue to be a beauty who can topple nations. Chapter 138. We want to break off the engagement. 1. Find a better one? Can you find someone better than Schwer on the Lingfeng continent? Yichun laughed in anger. The middle-aged man stammered. So what if she's good? She's so disrespectful to her elders. If you really marry her, won't we need to serve her as though she's our ancestor? The middle-aged woman was obviously much more glib-tongued. So, you're saying that you want to cancel the engagement? Long Ruoshue was annoyed. Why do these people always want to cause trouble for me? Yes, the engagement must be broken, the middle-aged woman said determinedly. And then? Is the emperor going to arrange another marriage again? Lung Ruoxue said casually. In fact, she had already sorted out the cause and effect after they revealed their intentions. How should I know? The middle-aged woman quickly denied, but her expression was a little flustered. What do you think, Freak? Lung Ruoxue turned to ask Freak, who was sitting beside her. Arranging and dissolving engagements as you please. What do you take us for? Freak said in an unfriendly tone. In fact, he knew very well that he and Schwer weren't people who liked to be controlled. Those people were really targeting the wrong people. Did you hear that? His words are exactly what I want to say. Lung Ruoxue's cold gaze swept over them, and the two of them immediately felt a chill run down their spines. Steward, see the guests out, Lung Ruoxue ordered. Yes, Mississippi, please. The steward's tone was very unfriendly. What kind of parents were they? He had never seen such people in his long life. Seeing that they didn't achieve their goal, the two were embarrassed. Moreover, they were being asked to leave, so they instantly felt ashamed and were about to walk away. Wait, Yichen suddenly called out to them. Chainer. The middle-aged man looked at his son expectantly. Don't call me Chainer. I don't have a father like you. From today onward, I, Yi Chun, announce that I am leaving the family. I won't be a member of the Yi family anymore. Yi Chun looked at the middle-aged man coldly. Chainer, do you know what you're saying? The middle-aged man said furiously, his face alternating between blue and white, clearly extremely angry. Husband, don't stop him. If he wants to leave, let him leave. Let's see how he can gain a foothold on the Ling Feng continent without the protection of our Yi family. The middle-aged woman pretended to be angry, but she was overjoyed from the bottom of her heart. This thorn in her heart had finally gotten rid of himself. This was great. No one in the Yi family would snatch anything from her son in the future. I've thought about it very clearly, and I know what I'm saying. Leave and don't come back. I have nothing to do with all of you from now on, Yichen said coldly. Please leave, the steward said disdainfully. Schwer, let me hug you, Freak said pitifully when the two of them were alone in the living room. Okay. Lung Ruoxue was a little speechless as she allowed Freak to hug her, but she couldn't help feeling puzzled. For some reason, I always feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Schwer, actually, I don't have much feeling for that so-called father. If he didn't marry that woman to establish his position, my mother wouldn't have died, and I wouldn't have been poisoned since I was a child. You wouldn't have seen me if I hadn't been saved. Freak acted coquettishly again as he spoke. So pitiful. Lung Ruoxue caressed his head as though she was petting him. To be honest, she really couldn't imagine that he was sad given his tone. She wondered if she was being too unsympathetic. Schwer, you have to treat me better in the future. I don't have any other family apart from you, Freak said pitifully. His eyes welled up with tears, as though the water might spill out at any moment as long as Schwer didn't satisfy his request. Yes, yes. I will be good to you, Lung Ruoxue coaxed helplessly. Isn't Freak going to tell me about his past? What's going on now? Oh, Freak, didn't you say that you wanted to tell me about your past? Continue. Lung Ruoxue urged. She was being wheedled on. She felt that this was dangerous because she was afraid that she would have no choice but to sign countless unfair treaties. I'm done. What else can I say? He looked at her with a face full of confusion. That's it? Lung Ruoxue was dumbfounded. Yes, and after I was saved, I continued to pretend to be sick. It wasn't easy for me to grow up safely. Freak's shiny black eyes looked at her with a few big words written in them. Pitiful. Come and pity me. He didn't care at all, and pretended to be pitiful in front of the person he loved. Who saved you then? She asked curiously. I can't tell you now. You will know in the future. He kept her in suspense. Seeing how smug Freak was, Lung Ruoxue really wanted to bite him. But she was relieved to see that what happened just now didn't affect him. Freak, let's continue eating. She changed the topic. Yeah, I'm not full yet, Freak said with some dissatisfaction. He really didn't want to be disturbed by irrelevant people. When Lung Ruoxue and Yi Chun returned to the garden pavilion, Lung Ruhan was almost done eating. Schwer, Yi Chun, is everything okay? Lung Ruhan asked as they ate. It's okay. I've left the Yi family, Yi Chun said calmly. He casually picked up a piece of meat and cooked it in the hot pot. What? How did this happen? What happened? Lung Ruhan was surprised. Leaving your family was not a small matter. Moreover, leaving your family would mean that the family had given up on you, and you wouldn't be protected by the family in the future. They were here to cancel the engagement, Lung Ruashua explained. Su Nair came to look for you yesterday, and today, the Yi family came here to break off the engagement. This is really… Lung Ruhan was speechless. When did the people of our Long family become so easy to manipulate? Chapter 139. We want to break off the engagement, too, Shuer. Did they say they want to break off the engagement directly? Lung Ruhan was very curious. Their Long family shouldn't be pushovers, right? No. They said that I was disrespecting my elders. Lung Ruashua was speechless. What an excuse. Seems like this should be the emperor's idea. Shuer, some people are really unscrupulous in order to marry you. Lung Ruhan couldn't help teasing. But he could also see that Shuer and Yi Chun didn't seem to be affected. Yes, they must pay the price for scheming against me, Lung Ruashua said unhappily. Hee, Shuer, how do you plan to deal with them? Lung Ruhan was a little curious. Those people really didn't have eyes. We'll discuss it with Grandpa when he comes back. After dinner, Lung Ruaksha's group of 3 waited until late at night, but Lung Qingtian and the others still weren't back. Big brother, why aren't they back yet? Could something have happened? Lung Ruashua was a little worried and regretted not attending the banquet with her grandfather and the others. Don't worry. Nothing will happen. Grandpa is now a spiritual supremacy, and Thunder Knight is a divine beast. There really aren't many people who dare to touch Grandpa in the Eastern Lagoon Empire now, Lung Ruhan comforted. Yes, Lung Ruashua agreed. Big brother, let's go back to our rooms to rest first. Lung Ruashua continued. How long should they wait? Then let's go back to our rooms and sleep, Lung Ruhan said. He was also a little sleepy. Okay. The next day, after waking up, Lung Ruashua washed up and planned to go to the study to find her grandfather. Mississippi. Lung Ruashua met Fengda as soon as she entered the garden. Fengda, why did you come back so late last night? Lung Ruashua asked in puzzlement. The banquet ended very early, but later, the emperor and the general spoke alone for a long time, Fengda complained. Miss, the general seems to be in a very bad mood. Fengda reminded softly after thinking about it. Oh, she had expected it long ago. Grandpa. Lung Ruashua knocked on the door of the study. Shuer, come in. Shuer, was Yichen all right last night? Lung Qingtian asked with concern when he saw his granddaughter walk in. The steward had already told him. He's fine. But Grandpa, I heard you're not in a good mood. Lung Ruashua probed. Shuer, the emperor really wants you to marry the 7th prince. He had a long chat with Grandpa yesterday. Lung Qingtian was speechless. The emperor even brought up the late emperor in order to convince him. It's his business what he wants. I won't let him tell me what to do. Lung Ruashua was a little angry. Am I too weak? That damn stinky emperor really needs to be taught a lesson. Grandpa, don't meddle in this matter. Just leave it to me. Shuer, what do you intend to do? Lung Qingtian was really curious. Grandpa, it's better if you don't know, Lung Ruashua said with evil intentions. After leaving Long Qingshan's study, Lung Ruashua went to find Freak. It's still better to cooperate with Freak to do something bad. Shuer, where are we going? Freak held Shuer's slender waist with one hand and took advantage of her openly on Quill's back. The Heavenly Phoenix Academy? Why are we going there? Didn't we agree not to go there anymore? Freak was slightly displeased. Huaqing was there, so he didn't want to go there. Go and settle the score with the 7th prince. I want to beat him up ruthlessly, Lung Ruashua said wickedly. It would be difficult for her to dispel her anger if she didn't beat him up. Yes, beat him up. Beat him up hard. He raised both hands in approval of this idea. But, Shuer, is beating him up enough? Freak said after some thought. What else? Lung Ruashua looked at him with clear eyes. Castrate him, he proposed. That way, There's no way he can marry Shuer and become the emperor. A few drops of cold sweat dripped down Long Ruoxu's forehead. Why does Freak always like doing something so hardcore? What I mean is, let him be the same as the Hua family patriarch. He can see it but not eat it, Freak explained. This was the worst punishment for men. Okay then. Long Ruoxue approved. Quill, land at the back door. Long Ruoxue ordered. There were few people at the back door, so no one would notice. Yes, master. Quill went to the back door of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, found an open space, and descended. Rise, cast an invisibility spell on us. Long Ruoxue summoned Rise. Yes, master. Count me in on doing bad things, Rise volunteered, looking eager. Master, I want to go too, Dazzle said excitedly through voice transmission from the Heaven and Earth bracelet. Dazzle, you can't. Your claws are too obvious, and someone will discover you, Long Ruoxue said after some thought. She was very afraid that Dazzle would use his claws to scratch someone like Darling had. She only wanted to trip the Emperor up in the dark now, and didn't want to face him directly. Master, am not that stupid fox, Dazzle said aggrievedly, while screaming in his head that he wanted to do something bad. Fine. Long Ruoxue couldn't stand his pitiful appearance, and had to let Dazzle out as well. After the two humans and two beasts became indivisible, they went straight to the unlucky seventh prince. When they found Li Yu in the main hall, no one else was there. Yichen rushed up to him and began beating him up as though Li Yu had killed his father. The seventh prince was beaten unconscious before he could even realize what was going on. So weak, Freak complained, not yet satisfied. He took out a pill and stuffed it into the seventh prince's mouth, then clapped his hands and returned to Shuer. Shuer, let's go, he said ingratiatingly. He felt much better. Okay. Long Ruoxue nodded, and the two walked toward the door. Shuer, where are we going? This wasn't the way back to the Long residence. The Imperial Palace. She had yet to visit the Imperial Palace of the Eastern Lagoon Empire. All right, let's go and give that damn emperor some inhumane medicine, Freak said fiercely. These matters were caused by that damn emperor. If he didn't teach him a lesson, he would write his name backward. Chapter 140. We want to break off the engagement. 3. Still that hardcore. Long Ruoxue complained. Shuer, where does the emperor live? Freak asked after they landed in the Imperial Garden. He wasn't familiar with the Imperial Palace. I'm going to meet the Empress first. Meet the Empress? Yes. Doesn't the Emperor want the seventh prince to be the next emperor? I won't let him get his way. Long Ruoxue knew that the Empress and the Crown Prince had to hate what the damn Emperor was doing now. As the saying went, the enemy of the enemy was a friend, so cooperating with the Empress was the best choice. Relying on the map she got from her grandfather, Long Ruoxue quickly found the Phoenix Algae Palace where the Empress lived. Freak, wait for me here. I'll go by myself. Long Ruoxue motioned for Rise to dispel his invisibility spell and walked into the Phoenix Algae Palace openly. The Empress kept a very low profile. Apart from the guards outside the palace, there wasn't a single maidservant or guard in the entire palace. Who are you? The Empress, who was sitting and reading a book, forced herself to calm down and look at the girl who suddenly appeared in her palace. But she was startled in her heart. I am Long Ruoxue. Long Ruoxue said her name directly. It was obvious that this Empress was smart, or she wouldn't be so calm. You are Long Ruoxue? You are indeed a rare beauty, the Empress said appreciatively. Her eyes kept looking up and down at the absolutely beautiful girl in front of her. With her alluring beauty, cold and noble temperament, and extraordinary strength, the seventh prince simply wasn't worthy of such a stunning woman. Seems that the Emperor's wishful thinking won't be possible. Empress, you are also a rare beauty, Long Ruoxue said honestly. The woman in front of her was indeed very beautiful, and it was a kind of intellectual beauty. As for her strength, this beautiful woman was unexpectedly a spiritual sovereign. This Empress was really like a fresh flower stuck in cow manure. May I ask why Miss Long is looking for me? The Empress asked frankly with a smile. Why are you asking the obvious? I'm sure you know why I'm here. Long Ruoxue threw the question back. Miss Long, Did you come because of the marriage with the seventh prince? The Empress asked with certainty.
Yes.
Miss Long, this matter was decided by the Emperor. It's useless to look for me, the Empress said helplessly. She was also thinking of ways to stop this matter, but she didn't have any good ideas. In fact, she was the most unwilling person to see the seventh prince marry the Long family. You are mistaken, Empress. I came for this matter, but not entirely. I'm mainly here to find you to cooperate against our common enemy, Long Ruoxue said candidly. Since they were going to cooperate, they needed to be sincere. How do you want to cooperate with me, Miss Long? The Empress asked directly. Smart people wouldn't lie, and they indeed had a common enemy. I wonder how far you're willing to go, Empress? Long Ruoxue probed. I don't understand what you mean. I'm sure you can see that the Emperor plans to abolish the Crown Prince and establish the seventh prince, Long Ruoxue said bluntly.
Yes.
She had long seen through it. The Emperor had been brewing such thoughts for quite some time. But the seventh prince's mother's family didn't have much power, so the Emperor had never dared to act rashly. Since you know about it, why didn't you take precautions earlier? Long Ruoxue really couldn't understand this woman's thoughts. He's my husband after all, the Empress said helplessly, but he doesn't treat you as his wife. He's a man who spoils his concubines and neglects his wife, yet you still indulge him. Do you have to wait until he makes the first move before you wake up? Long Ruoxue hated women who valued their husbands above all else. She was obviously a very smart woman, but she couldn't figure out emotional issues. You are right. I really have indulged him too much. In fact, when we first got married, we were happy, so I've always. The Empress choked with emotion. Men are fickle-minded. I'm afraid he doesn't remember, Long Ruoxue said mockingly. She had already learned about the damn Emperor's character. What do you want me to do? The Empress asked after calming herself down. It was time for her to plan for her son. Empress, you can express your disapproval of this matter, Long Ruoxue reminded. But the Empress hesitated. If her objection was useful, she would have objected long ago. Empress, although your maiden family isn't comparable to the 5 great families, it's still the #1 family in the Eastern Lagoon Empire. As long as you object, the Emperor will more or less take note of it. Long Ruoxue analyzed. They'll try, the Empress said after some thought. Then, Long Ruoxue whispered her plan into the Empress' ear. This won't do. It's too risky. The Empress widened her eyes and looked at Long Ruoxue in disbelief. This girl actually wants me to. Miss Long, I think you still don't know about the old patriarch's existence yet, right? The Empress asked, her heart racing. I know. Every imperial family has a spiritual supremacy behind them. She heard from her grandfather that the old patriarch of the Eastern Lagoon Empire was also a spiritual supremacy. Then how dare you want me to, Empress? If you don't even have the courage, then just wait to be eaten. Long Ruoxue reminded lightly. She knew that the Empress was afraid of the so-called old patriarch, but she didn't think that the old patriarch would start a killing spree over such a small matter. After all, the struggle for the throne was always bloody, and the old patriarch must have done similar things back then. Let me think about it, the Empress said thoughtfully. Okay, when you've thought it over, send someone to look for me. Then Long Ruoxue turned and left the Phoenix Algae Palace. Not far away from the Phoenix Algae Palace. Where did that damn freak go? Didn't we agree that he would wait here? Long Ruoxue muttered to herself. How disobedient. He should be spanked. Schwer, are you thinking about me? Just as Long Ruoxue finished thinking this, Freak's enchanting voice sounded in her ears, and his face was full of excitement. Master said, she wants to spank you for being disobedient. Dazzle gloated while lying in Long Ruoxue's arms. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.